Hello, boys and girls. Can you see me? Can you hear me? No, you can't hear me because I haven't got my microphone plugged in. Right. Can everybody see me? Wow, fantastic, fantastic. So I managed to do it all right tonight. Beautiful. I've had to give in tonight, and you may see that I'm here in my hoodie because it's so bloody cold today. And tonight it's just got colder and colder, and in the end, I had to give in. So there you go. Bax. You're going to be back. You wanted to be first, didn't you? Oh, you're funny, Puppy Dog Diary. Hello, hello, hello. He'll be back later. Funny, funny, funny. Flipper J, Heidi Hi. Awesome. I love your chat sessions. Be back later, Granny. Cool. That'll be good. I'll be here for a while, as you know. Liz, I just came to say hello. I'll be in and out. No worries at all. Come in when you can. Hi, Rob H. How you going? Good to see you again. Hi, Lisa. Thanks for coming. The Bolo Hunter. Bolo. Bolo. Hi, Mel. Hi, Sandra. Hope you're going good. Getting those manga books sorted. Hey, Flipping Farm Girl. How you going, Jane? Good? Hi, Thomas. Good to see you here again. Hi, Jen. How you going? Good to see you in. Can't believe there's so many of you little boys and girls in here already. Hi, Jake. Good, thank you. And here he is, King Chris. How are we, Chris? Still lovesick till Sunday. Oh, dear. Hi, Matilda. Good to see you. Everybody's telling me they can hear me, which is good. Hi, Liz. Good to see you. Yes, Bolo, indeed. And Brendan. Yeah, one eye on the stream and one on the footy. Well, that's fair enough. I can cope with that. I can cope with that. Matilda's saying hi to everyone. Here's Kathan. Cold, windy, came home and there's a tree in my driveway. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. I think I've escaped. Well, no. Look, I don't know whether I have or not because I actually haven't been outside hardly to check whether anything's blown over because it's been so terribly windy today. And Miss Hell. Hi, Miss Hell. And Oz Riley. How you going? Good to see you. Hi, Anthony. You're minus the kids tonight. Okay. Well, have a drink or two on me because that's what parents do when they haven't got the kids. I used to look forward to my every second weekend when the kids would go to their fathers and I could have a bit of happy me time. Hi, Blondie. Good to see you. G'day, Graham, the Aussie nurse flipper. Good to see you. Matilda, how's eBay been this week for everyone? It's been kind to me. Funny what listing does. Yeah, funny about that, isn't it? Well, yeah, no, it hasn't been very good to me, but I have discovered the reason why, and so that's a bonus. So apparently I was cleaning out some stuff that I wasn't going to be selling anymore so that I could put it in my garage sale and getting rid of a few, sorry, I'm laughing because I'm just seeing what the disgruntled octopus has written. Getting rid of a few categories of stuff that I'm no longer going to be selling moving forward. And I might have taken out just a little bit more than I realised. And I think the algorithm is paying me back. Jane says, all good. Been a rush to get everything out of the way to get here. Just finished sorting a ton of DVDs, CDs, and vintage kitchen stuff. Oh, nice. I like vintage kitchen stuff. The disgruntled octopus. Here he is. I'm here as per our contractual arrangement. Yeah. Yes. Go on. That's what you keep people. You're thinking that. Samantha O'Neill. Hi. How you going? Good to have you here. And Graham saying hello to Octo. Well, oh, look at that. I have caught up on the chat. So it hasn't been a disaster this first time. People will be surprised that watch it on replay thinking, well, how did you manage to stuff up last time so badly and get through this one? So all right. So that's good. Couple of new things to show you tonight. So some of you may have already seen this. I'll just angle my camera around a little bit here. So I finally got my world map so that I can start tracking where I send parcels, which is pretty exciting. And I've started at the moment, I haven't done very much, but I have actually started scratching off the maps of some of the places I've sent books to. And then I'll have to work out where on the map they are. I know I've sent something to Tasmania, so I did scratch Tasmania off. But yeah, so it's a scratch off map, which is good because I was going to get one of the ones that you put pins in. And yeah, I looked at these and I thought, I don't know what they'd look like. And anyway, my son saw them in Lincraft. And I said, well, if you think that they look all right, if they look nice enough, get me one. So, he did. And, there it is. So far I have scratched off Canada, Brazil, USA, United Kingdom, Switzerland, Norway, Kuwait, Australia, Japan, and New Zealand. But yeah, there's a lot more to go, but I thought that was a good start. So I'll try and get some of those done before I do my next live stream. Oh, I better need to have a drink because it's, a bit thirsty doing all this. So yeah. Oh, and I was going to, maybe I can or maybe I can't. I'll see if I can work out a way to show you. So over on my photo station, which some of you may have seen on Thursday because I was taking photos during the accountability hour, at the moment I have my collection of John Marsden books, the bulk of which I'd say a good 80% are from books from the Tomorrow When the War Began series. And then there's a small selection of some of the other little books he's written. And, I've sort of been collecting them for a while. I've sold a couple of sets of the Alley Chronicles already. And, I just kept piling them up because the full sets are going for quite good money. And particularly if you do happen to have a first edition set. So I'm hoping, I know I've got some first editions in there, but I don't know how many I've got. But even a full set of the paperbacks, if you've got all nice matching paperbacks, they're going for around the $100 mark. And that's for the 6 books from Tomorrow When the World War Began, and then the 3 Alley Chronicle books as well together. So you've got 10 books. Oh, must be 7 books in Tomorrow When the War Began. Yeah, it's the 7 and the 3. So you've got a set of 10 books, and they're going for around 100. And that's without necessarily matching, or the matching ones will go for a bit more. But yeah, I thought it was probably time that I there's quite a bundle there, so it's probably time that I cleared them out and made some room on the shelf. Caven says the algorithm loved it when I threw all the non-selling junk out of the store. I'm sure it did. And it paid you back big time. Brendan is going to a whole town garage sale tomorrow. Any tips from Grumpy Granny? Well, go early. Be really nice and polite and sweet to the sellers, because if you do, they'll probably give you stuff for cheaper, because that's what I did. And the people that were rude, I charged them more because I didn't price anything at my garage sale, because I had basically one side of the driveway was $1 and the other side of the driveway was $2. And the person that was really rude to me, I charged him $3 for each thing he bought. So there you go. Look, it's hard with an all town garage sale because you don't really know what they're selling. But if there's certain particular things you're looking for, I would just be going and having a quick sticky beak, see if they've got the particular things you want. If they have, try and get them. If they haven't got what you're looking for, move straight on to the next one. Don't sort of look around. Don't feel obligated to buy anything at each garage sale, because you're not expecting everyone to buy at your garage sale. And try and do bulk deals. Like if someone's got a heap of stuff that you want, make a pile and see if they are willing to do your bundle deal. Because hopefully, like if it's like here, and what I did, I was just wanting to, get rid of stuff. Mind you, there were things that didn't sell, and I couldn't work out why they didn't sell. And my daughter had put all the ceramic, the antique and vintage plates out. And a lot of them I'd actually bought with a view of selling them on eBay. And on the bottom, I had sticky notes with the comps on what I was going to sell them for. So people were picking up this particular plate that I would have sold them for $2, and they're lifting it over and it says $30 to $50. And they quick smart put it back, but I couldn't work out why, because it's a gorgeous plate and in really great condition, and I couldn't work out why nobody was bringing it up to me to buy, but that was why. So so even if there's prices on stuff, most people should be willing to negotiate. Bax is back. That's good. The disgruntled octopus says, "Evening, Graham. I would ask if you're well, but obviously not since you're here." That's not very nice, Octo, let me tell you. Sandra said loves the view of my new map. That's cool. And do you all like my little sign up here? If you don't want a sarcastic answer, don't ask a stupid question. My favourite sign. John Roberts, how'd you be? Good to see you. Good to have you in. Kathan, what are we saying now? I like your scratch-off map. I've only sent to 3 different countries so far. Today's was Greece. Oh, cool. Yeah, actually, I do think I have sent something to Greece. I think I have. I'll have to check that one up. And I know, pretty sure I've sent something to Italy as well. But, yeah, I'll have to look them up to be sure because, maybe I'm imagining it. Because Italy's a hard one because some of the older books are actually published in Italy. So I'm wondering whether I'm thinking that's what I'm thinking of. So I don't want to scratch it off until I'm sure. And Jane says, it's been a great week of sales here. Had her best single day in 2.5 years yesterday. Fantastic. That's great. I'm so pleased for you. That is really, really good. I won't mention I had a donut day yesterday, but anyway. Hi, Kelly Dwyer. How are you? What Kelly found? Have you found some goodies lately? I'm sure you have because you seem to find all sorts of cool things. Matilda says, well done, Gigi. International has died in the ass for me. Yeah, no. Actually, this week, this past week, I've had more international sales than I have local sales, which, says to me really what the algorithm's beating me to death because I took too many things out of the store. But done now. Look, here's the hammock hustler. Hey, everyone. Sam, how you doing? Good to have you in. What's she saying? What have we got here? Kelly says, I'm after the first tomorrow when the war began booking hardcover. If you end up with one you aren't bundling, I shall let you know. I know I've got a few copies of it over there. And there's a few different, because they bought out different series at different times, of course. So there are some with different covers, but I'm pretty sure from looking from here, I reckon I've got 2 at least that are from the first lot. So, yes, very cool, very cool. My garage sale went really well. So, look, I really just wanted to get rid of stuff. None of the shoes, well, no, I won't say none. I think I sold 5 pairs of shoes in the end, and I'm not sure whether I did get rid of any handbags. People just weren't looking for clothing or handbags or shoes. They wanted other stuff, and they wanted grungy, dirty, rusty things, So, yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get rid of much of those, but considering that pretty much I sold everything for either $1 or $2, apart from the one sale where I charged the guy $9 for his 3 things because he was an arsehole. Yeah, I finished up with $275, I think, out of all that, which is a lot of things, but there still seems to be a lot left, unfortunately. I tried giving a lot of the kids' books away, but, yeah, there weren't all that many kids that came around. And a couple of the kids, I said, go and get yourselves a book, but they didn't want books. If I'd said go and get yourself a toy out of the toy box, they would have gone and got them, but, That's life, isn't it? None of the kids want to read. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Gigi in chat, watching with one eye on the footy. Yes, I'm sure you are. Sam saying hello to Matilda. Everyone's saying hello to each other. Sandra said, would have been great if you'd sold them for that much. What have I sold for that much? I've missed that one. Okay. Sam, you're going to get back to doing some content, Miss You. Yes, she's so busy working, selling stuff on eBay. She doesn't get to do much social media stuff. Sandra, I've only sold to the UK and US. Oh, yeah, but more will come. Now that you've got once you get international shipping going. Oh, Dingo, you're a sweetheart. Thank you for coming along, boosting the algorithm again. How nice of you. That is so good. I really appreciate that. Content on Insta, you mean? Sandra, oh, yeah. Sandra killed it on Thursday. Sandra absolutely killed it. So we're in a group together and, what is there? Probably 10, 12 members in that group. And she slayed every single one of us on Thursday with some of her sales. She did really, really well. So it was good. Going good, Granny. I'm really, really good. So for those of you that don't know, yeah, back surgery is coming up in just over a week. Kind of exciting, kind of not. I've had all my pre-op appointments all by phone. Got to go and have a blood test on Monday. And then all going well. We'll be off to see the doctors the following Monday to have the bit of slice and dice and, get this back fixed, which will be absolutely amazing. So looking forward to it. I mean, but at the same time, try not to get too overexcited with it because, I mean, the way the hospitals are at the moment, there's, every chance that it could get cancelled, even when I, have travelled to Melbourne and get there. So we just won't get too excited. Graham says, I saw a video about words to use in your titles. One was granny core or granny chic. Cottage cheese core. Yeah, I think it was cottage core was the one you're thinking of, Graham, because I have seen that little video. Yeah, we kind of need to do an Aussie version of that, I think, because a lot of the terminology they were using isn't like some things translate over from, internationally, but some things just don't. Like there's terminology that they were using that if we put that in our listings in Australia, okay, we might attract the international market, but we're not going to attract the local buyers because they would just, it would mean nothing, absolutely nothing. So, yeah, what do you do there? Like that's a hard one because if you're selling stuff particularly, especially to attract the international market, I guess, you could go ahead and use some of those terminologies, but then are you risking not selling something because you're not trying to sell it locally? It's a bit of a hard one, but we almost need an Aussie version of that video, I think, with what keywords to use. Oh, and have you all noticed I've got new glasses? I have got new spectacles. Finally took myself to an optometrist after many years. I went to Specsavers and the young lass said to me, have you been to Specsavers before? And I said, darling, when I last went to an optometrist, Specsavers didn't exist. So she thought it was quite funny. She nearly wet herself laughing. So I did try to tell Octo that joke on Thursday, but he didn't seem to think it was all that funny. But then he doesn't think much I say is funny. I got woken up to a ka-ching this morning. Nice way to wake up. I hope you got two ka-chings. I hope you got ka-ching and then ka-ching again so that they paid for it as well. Rob says, how was the turnout being that it was Father's Day? Actually, surprisingly good. There were a lot of pickers, and a lot of resellers about. There weren't very many locals shopping until later in the day. A lot of the locals finished their garage sales at 3:00. I kept going till about 4:30, 5. and I had a few stragglers come in and made a few extra sales, so that was good. But yeah, a lot of the locals didn't come sort of until after they'd closed their own down. So yeah, Pitter Patter 100. Hi, first time here. Well, welcome to Grumpy Granny's little corner of the world, where I talk for a long time and tell you all sorts of funny stories. You never know what's going to come out of my mouth. John Roberts sold 60 mils in Boone today. Nice. Could end up being near 200 by the end of the week. Oh, you've got a customer that's wanting to get a bit of a collection happening. Is that for one person? Very good, very good, very good. Liz, I like the video, 31 watching, 11 likes. Yes, like it, please, please, please. Sorry, referring to your $30 plate. Yes. Oh, look, I bought them with a view of listing them on eBay, but I decided I didn't want to sell breakables. When you try and ship breakables, and yeah, no. Look, some people like to do it, but I'm not one of them, because I'm so worried that they're not going to get there, and I'd be stressed the whole time. I mean, I did send a few things, and I was stressed the whole time till they got there and they weren't broken. So yeah, not for me. You really got to, I wouldn't say enjoy, but you've got to be okay with that, and I'm not. Thank you, Bax. Thank you, Bax. Yes, well done, Sandra. Yeah, she did very, very well. While balancing in-person market stalls, so Insta is on the back burner while I get a comfortable flow. Yes, that's right. She's doing in-person market stalls, and she's been doing some music festivals as well, which is, a whole new business stream too, which is great. Yeah, look, markets aren't easy, I have to say. If you're young and fit, like I'm not, markets are good. But we have mini markets down here in our main street every now and again, and I was doing them for a little while, but I really stopped because physically it was just too hard on my back, because by the time you get there, and then unless I had someone to help me lift all the stuff out of the car, you can't really take one thing at a time out and walk it across to the table. Whereas, you've got to lift the whole box out and then set the tables up, carry the tables over, set the, yeah, a lot of work. And if the weather's not great or the weather's too hot, then put your gazebo up. Yeah. No, not for me. Yes. So she sold a Time Life set of books, the Enchanted World series. Yes, $360 plus $75 post, and cost $72 to post 21 kilograms, which she did over 2 parcels, I believe. Is that right, Sandra, isn't it? Yeah. So she did well. Sam says markets are great way to get rid of non-eBayable stuff. Very true. Yes. Well, it's kind of like having a brick and mortar store without having a brick and mortar store, isn't it? Because you're able to take that stock that you can't, that you're not going to sell on eBay, and take it there and get rid of it. I think it's great. Really, really good. Graham says you could use it to sell winter clothes in the US at this time of the year. Well, you could. Yes, true. Yes, Sandra does sell only books. However, Sandra has things other than books that she has acquired with a view to sell, but she hasn't sold any of the other things. Yes. Sandra, I love you, Sandra, but she does have a slight acquiring problem. Paid straight away. Excellent stuff. That's fantastic. Good one. Perfect. Yeah, shipping breakables is the worst. I'm with you. Like, they're just, shocking. Oh, Pitter Patter. See, here we go. Pitter Patter loves selling mugs. Mugs aren't too bad. That was probably, a mug was the last thing that I took out of my store, I think, that was breakable. Yeah, because you can put them in a box and, put the shredded paper and the shredded cardboard, like I showed in my thank you card video, around it, and, all that sort of stuff. But for what you can sell a lot of them for, the return's not there, like, for the effort that you're putting in. A lot of the times, I don't think, unless you can get, really cool ones. But, yeah, good on you. Like, yeah, if you enjoy doing it, that's good. Exactly, Matilda. You don't get your time back for the time it takes to pack them. And Pitter Patter says, I was going to do a boot sale. Oh, boot sale. So are you in the UK? I do have to ask. Or is that boot sales here? No? Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. At the yearly UC fundraiser, but it's hard work and the tennis semi-finals are on. Well, apparently you're not in Australia because we wouldn't be doing tennis semi-finals. I am thinking you're spot on a storefront for a $25 a run, way better than actual store costs. Absolutely, because, no power and stuff. And look, the other benefit is you're out in the fresh air, which if it was like today, you wouldn't want to be out in the fresh air, but you're out in the fresh air and you're getting to go around to places which you might not otherwise get around to. And all the people that you're meeting, I love that side of it. I love going new places and seeing, different things selling different places. But, yeah, really, really good fun. But, yeah, definitely have to be fitter than I am currently. Yes, I'll be looking forward to getting back to it. I've got 4 to 6 weeks after my surgery where I'm not allowed to lift anything much. But after that, I'll have to be careful, though, with the books. I really will, that I don't pick up too many at a time until I'm allowed to. Yes, sorry, Sandra. Love you. Yes, good week at work this week. $25 plus post for some mugs. Okay. Yeah, that's not too bad. But see, $25 for me, $25 plus post for some mugs, and with the time it would take me to pack them versus selling a book for the same. Oh, the US Open. Okay, she's on the Sunshine Coast. Pitter Patter is. Yeah, for me, with the effort it would take me to pack a book that I sold for $25 plus post versus what I would have to do to sell a mug for $25 plus post. Yep, books. Even the hat, like the hats, baseball caps, I put them in a box, the same box as I used to put the mugs in. Much rather sell that, I reckon. Oh, my God, it was 37 there. Oh, really? Wow. It's going to get to 27 here next week, I think by Friday. So it's going to heat up over the week. But yeah, it's icy. This morning it was really mild and there was a bit of rain, but then it started to come in cold and it is icy. Like, I haven't worn this for a while now, but it is literally, I was in here in a warm jumper and it was just still too cold. And I just thought, nah, back of that, I'm going to go and put my hoodie on. One of my best investments. I've got 2 of them. The other one's probably the one I should have put on, but yeah, this one was in the room, so I just put this one on because it's a bit boring being plain black. Graham says he doesn't have much luck with books. Well, you're obviously getting the wrong ones, Graham. All I can say. Sorry. Jane says, I've had no problems shipping fragiles other than the stress of it getting there undamaged. Framed pictures to New Zealand. Oh, yeah, that'd be a bit scary. That would be a bit scary. Very stressful indeed. 27 degrees, look out. It's 21 here and you're in a puffer jacket. Isn't it funny? We're just so used to different weather in different areas of the country. But, yeah, I mean, we've had some decent weather. Like the day of the garage sale was about 22, I think, here. And it was really nice. It was just pleasant weather. I mean, I had a jumper on most of the day because I was sitting under the carport. I wasn't directly in the sun. But, yeah, it was really nice and really pleasant. But, yeah, 27 is going to be quite warm because when you go from this freezing cold weather to 27, it will be a bit chilly. Brisbane weather is good all year round. Yeah, well, Victoria, well, you know what they say about Melbourne. I mean, I'm a long way from Melbourne, but, they say Melbourne is, can have 4 seasons in one day, and we can in Victoria. It's weird. you're getting 27 degrees in the UK this week. Really? So do you would consider that fairly warm? 27, Lisa, in the UK? Like, I'm not meaning to, have a shot because cold over there, but yeah, generally we think of the UK as being cold. Pitter Patter doesn't do international though. Yeah. So that's that makes a difference. Like, yeah. So someone else in our group, Sandra, the group that we're in, had a beautiful red genie bottle that he sold overseas, and then he had to pack it. And I think he was just about having a heart attack, but it arrived over there safely, and everything was all good. So yeah, I thought that was amazing. I would have been too scared. Hi, Recommerce Dave. How are you? Good to have you on board. Too warm for you. 27. See, for us, that's just a really not like, especially once it'll be hot for us because it's the first really warm day we've had for a while. But 27 is like a really nice day, just pleasant. Not too hot, not too cold. I missed the start. Oh no, Sam, my sales have tanked. I killed my store. Whoops. So there's a bit of a story to that. So I've been getting rid of the stuff that I'm no longer selling, like the categories that I'm no longer selling. And I've been slowly, over the last month, I've been taking a few down out of each category each day. And I was only thinking about each category. Like I'd delete 5 to 10 DVDs and, then later in the day I'd think, I must go and take those handbags down. I'll put them all up a lot of them up for auction. And then if they didn't sell, I didn't relist them. I just deleted them. And algorithm is paying me back big time. He is, old Al is giving me a bit of a hard time this week because I may have deleted just a few too many, but we'll see. Look, I feel things have picked up a bit again today compared to what they had been. Like I had a couple of donut days last week and or a donut day last week, and it's been like March since I'd had donut days, and to get donut days, it just really rocks you when you're not used to it. I mean, at the start you are used to it, but when you're not used to it, you just sort of have a bit of a freak out. And for a start, I couldn't work out why was this happening? I was listing every day, and I'm increasing how many I'm listing. I'm, going in and editing older listings and putting new photos in them and making them all look pretty and fixing the titles up and all those sorts of things. And I know full well that the quality of items I'm listing now is way better than the quality of items I was listing, a few months ago. So I couldn't work it out. And then when I sat down and did my figures, and then I was comparing the size of how many listings I had, live listings I had compared to what I had like 45 days ago. Whoops. It sort of all of a sudden it struck me that I deleted a few too many. Jane says, been a gorgeous week after the last today's huge storm last night, trying to find a parking space. Oh, a park. Is that a parking space? I'm presuming you mean there. Away from the big gums. Yes, don't park under the gum trees after a storm, because in a next day or two, that's when the limbs will fall off. They won't fall off in the storm. They will fall off a few days later. Lisa says, we don't have aircon, so it gets too hot at 27. You don't need air conditioning at 27. Goodness me. Yep. John the reseller, which town? Oh, you just want to go and see what you can find to buy, John. Goodness me. Hello, John. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed your little visit with Mel and Tom. That would have been great fun. I would like to have gone, but at the moment I couldn't do that long a trip with my back down and back in a day, and I couldn't afford to take the extra day if I'd stayed down. I didn't feel that at the moment while I'm trying to get ready to have, because I'm going to have to go into time away when I have my operation. So I didn't, I didn't want to take that extra day. Being a good business owner, Lisa, I had a donut day after return the day before. I think eBay punished me. Yeah, possibly. Like, a lot of it is dependent on if you've been consistently getting daily sales. But yeah, sometimes you can get the odd donut day if eBay's tweaking things behind the scenes, which sometimes they do a bit of tweaking. I mean, yeah, I'm sure some of my bad days have been made worse because, there's been a little bit of glitching and tweaking and whatnot going on. Sam says that's rough. eBay doesn't love your store shrinking. No, it does not. At least your sell-through will increase after. Yeah, exactly. Look, it's a long-term gain, I guess. And it had to happen sort of by the garage sale because otherwise those things would still be in my store and sitting there forever and a day and, yeah, not doing anything really good for my store because they would have still been sitting there. Caven said, I had a donut day today. Oh, well, the day's not over yet. So you've got time. After sending out 10 things the day prior, I was actually happy to get a break. Yeah. Look, and it does happen. I mean, you talk about roller coaster rides, but like it really is. It's one of the things. If you can't cope with the roller coaster ride, yeah. Yeah, not so good, Jane. You could do with a bit of practice with the old touch typing there. So I learnt to touch type on a manual typewriter because that's all we had at my high school. And I remember that was the first year of typing because we didn't do typing until, I'm going to say, Form 3, which would be, year 7, 8, year 9. And then you did your second year in year 10. And in that year, we got one electric typewriter for the whole class. And so then there was fights every class as to who got to type on the electric typewriter. So, yeah, a bit of fun. John Roberts says, clearly my anniversary is boosting the sales of Mills and Boon. Well, perhaps so. Everybody's getting in a bit of that romantic mood there, John. You're putting a bit of romance out there in the air. Jen says, if you're cleaning out your store, what would you recommend then, GG, to delete so I won't affect sales? I'd just do it gradually, Jen. Like, maybe depending on how many listings you've got, I think, because if you've got 5,000 listings and you are deleting 5 to 10 a day, I don't think it's going to make much difference. But if you've only got a couple of thousand and you're deleting that many, it might start to make a little bit of a difference. But if you're deleting like 20 a day or more, which is what I ended up doing some days because I was doing it across the different categories, like, yeah, it is going to start to be noticeable because you're not listing enough. I certainly wouldn't remove less than what I was listing. So if you're only listing 5 a day, you wouldn't want to delete more than 5 a day because you don't want your numbers to drop too far. That would be the thing, unless you deliberately were trying to get a smaller store, and then you could get those smaller numbers, but you would just have to take the cut of the fact that you have less because, good old Al, he wants the numbers to go up so that there's more things for him to make money on. That's what I believe anyway. Hi, Paul. How are we? I absolutely adore your little thingy-jiggy for Ozpost. Thank you very much for doing that. That is an amazing little add-on for Chrome. Is it Chrome? Yeah, I think that's what I'm using. Whatever I'm using. Yeah, it's great. It saves a lot of time. And someone can ask me if they don't know what I'm talking about. They're the same at your school. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Didn't those electric typewriters? Oh, they did. They had this big ball in the middle, and it would go round and you'd click it and go. Yep. Unbelievable. Yes. Yes, fights over those electric typewriters. Yeah. And yet by the time my kids, I mean, that's a long time, but by the time my kids got to school, like there were no manual typewriters, and I think maybe that was a good way to learn, but yeah, Graham says, God, we are all old. Well, yeah, maybe not all of us, but a few of us. John says, yeah, Jen, like 5 to 10 a day, or you can add the 5 to 10 to the clearance store category and have a markdown for that category only in your store. Well, I mean, that's true is what you can do. So you can do a markdown sale on those things that you are going to delete and put them in a special category, make a special store category for clearance and put them in there and have a markdown sale on them and hope that you can get rid of them that way. And that way you're binning, so to speak, but not actually taking them out of your store, and they're sort of out of your eyesight and out of your, they're not in your general categories where you're listing. Yep, I like that idea, John. Anthony says, I sold a Bible after one of your live streams last week. Oh, I think Google was listening. Good stuff. Nice one. That is good. Very good. Yeah, Bibles sell really, really well. And it's interesting because, they will sell with inscriptions and they'll sell without inscriptions. I think some people with the older ones, like the really old ones, I think they actually enjoy getting Bibles with an inscription because it's part of the story. So they're not bothered at all by it, And one category of Bible that I have found that does sell quite well are the illustrated children's Bibles. They do sell quite well. I had a pocket. Where did I send that one? A pocket. I think I sent it to Ireland. A pocket diary. So it was only about yay big, like about this big, and beautiful illustrations all through it. Like, I don't think it was actually designed for kids, but it was just had those beautiful illustrations through it. And I think I ended up sending that one to Ireland. The thingy jiggy. So if you're using Chrome, which is what I think I am. Let me have a check. I better not say that without me. Yes, Google Chrome. If you're using Google Chrome and you're doing AusPost, there is an extension, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, called AusPost Buddy or My Post Buddy. Maybe it's called My Post Buddy. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. And you instigate that, get it running, and it does amazing things. Like, so it makes sure that the phone number is 10 digits long, and it makes sure that the length of the description, so where you had to fix up the length of the description and shorten it because it was longer than 40 characters, it automatically shortens that, and does a couple of other things too. So you basically get to go all the way down to choosing the size of your parcel before you have to click on anything. So, yeah, it's really good. Yep, that's our pleasure, Jen, if we're helping. Sam says, and we will listen because she's the expert, I think. Sam's my hero, my personal hero, and she has been fantastic and has mentored me a lot and is a wealth of knowledge, I have to say, like amazing knowledge. If you're marking down items, they need to be the lowest on the platform, as listings are inevitably invisible after 60 days live. Yes, true. Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Yeah, you have to take that into account, don't you? The amount of visibility that they're going to have. So if they're not the actual cheapest in that category, they're still not going to show up. So they really need to be super, super cheap. Yeah. But that being said, if it's stuff you're really wanting to get rid of, you could put them in a clearance bin, I guess, for like $1 or $2. I mean, I kind of did that with my auctions. I let them see if they sold at auction. Some things sold for $1, some things sold for $1.99. But then a couple of things sold for more than I would have listed them originally for. Yeah. So, Pitter Patter, where are you listing your Bibles? What category on eBay are you putting your Bibles, would be my question. Because I had quite a few of them that I had listed and put them in the religious book category. And then I had others that I put in the normal book category. But only the ones in the normal book category were selling. The ones in the religious book category just don't sell. So I've actually been transferring all of mine over into the normal book category because that's where they sell. Lisa says, my mum had to do the typewriting as well when she went to school. They made all the girls learn stuff like that before they left. She's a little older than you. Yes, they did, because they thought we were either going to be secretaries, and they made us do cooking and sewing. Oh, look, I must admit, things were starting to change a little bit when I went to school, because I did also get to do woodwork and metalwork. I quite enjoyed metalwork. Sandra says, I have 2 illustrated Bibles listed, never any nibbles. Really? Well, what's wrong with your listings and what's your price like? That is the first thing I'll be looking at. Oh, the electric typewriter with the ball. Yes. We only ever had the electric version of manual typewriters with the levers. Oh, yes, they did. Yeah, they used to get stuck together all the time. And they used to get, like, they really got stuck, and it was actually hard to get them apart, I used to find. Puppy Dog Diary's waving again, saying hi. Oh, she's back. He, she, they, he's back. We're still trying to work out Puppy Dog Diary because they don't let on anything. Ah, yes. Well, let's just say, I know you don't think you're an expert, but you're an expert compared to some of us. Yes. And Sam also says, she's a caveat to the above, increase your promoted listing percentage higher to override the 60-day shadow. Okay. Yeah, that's true. You could too. You could increase your promoted listing percentage if you really want to get them gone, and that way they'll keep showing up higher. Yeah, there's always a way around stuff, isn't it? But you just got to know that. Like, yeah, it's about knowing that. Kelly says, I've been changing my listings from free post to a lower item price. Yes. Plus post at standard cost. It has helped me move some older stock, strangely enough. Yeah. Look, honest to God, I've had this discussion a few times. So, oh, I need a drink though first. Hang on. Ugh, thirsty work. Yeah, I was a bit worried, like when I made the decision back in March to do, but it was look, when I changed in March, I was doing it as an experiment. I was doing everything that I was listing from the 1st of March onwards as an experiment in a couple of ways, but one of the ways I was doing that was going to be plus post versus free post, which everything in my store previous to that was free post. And I actually found that that I was really worried in the book category because everyone else in the book category was doing free post. And I was really worried how I would manage with me having plus post in the book category. But I didn't notice. I felt I was selling more stuff than what I was when I was doing free post. And I think part of it is your actual price is cheaper. So someone has got theirs listed for $30 free post. Mine's $20 plus post. And although they technically might work out to be the same price in the end, mine's still cheaper. So it's going to come in higher above in the search results. So, and I think a lot of buyers, and I know myself when I'm doing it, I go through and I'm when you're quickly scanning and scrolling, you just look and you will gravitate towards some of the ones that have got a cheaper price sometimes. Jane says, I've had a lot of success with Bibles and religious books. Yes. Always have international shipping on them and sell a lot to America. Yep. I quite agree with that. I do too. Yeah, they do tend to sell well and sell. Yeah, I'm going to say the majority of mine have probably gone overseas. I've sent some to the UK. I've sent one to Brazil, I think. Yeah, a few different odd places. And I actually think now that we're talking about places, I reckon the book I've sent to Italy, when I was saying that I'd sent something to Italy, I have a feeling it might have been a Greek Bible. And I was laughing. Why was I sending a Greek Bible to Italy, But I did. I think that might have been what it was. Pitter Patter says, I think in normal, but I'll check. Thanks for that. Have sold children's Bibles, though. They go first. Yeah, I find they do. Look, it depends. Look, I suppose it depends on the condition of the book. A lot of times it depends on the types of illustrations, how heavy it is, how big it is, how much you've listed it for. I mean, there's a lot of variables, but Yeah, generally I find the kids ones do pretty well. Craven said, I enjoy metalwork too, probably why I do it for a living. Well, there you go. I did for my year 12, which wasn't called year 12 back in the day. I did Form 6, HSC. For my art project, I made silver jewellery, which I thoroughly enjoyed and would have been good to make a living out of. Paul says, I converted 600 items from free to paid post and reduced the cost by the shipping amount. Yep. And if anyone's worried about doing that and you're trying to do a bulk lot of that, you can actually go in and do it in the bulk editing tool. You can actually go in and change the prices. So what I did was you can actually, I brought up all my active listings and I sorted them by price, right? So then I selected all the ones. So as an example, I selected all the ones that I had that said were $25.95, right? So that's probably not a good analogy to use. So I selected all the ones that were $29.95 free post. So I selected all those and said edit, which took me into the bulk editing tool. Now they're all the same price. So if I'm going to reduce them down to by the cost of the postage, now, be careful on that, because if you've got some really heavy books in there, if you're doing international shipping, you need to select the right one. But we're talking just domestic within Australia at the moment. So you're going to knock that $10 roughly off. So you can just go in and change price, and you can actually use the bulk editing tool to change the price on all of them so that you don't have to go into them individually. And then you can also change the postage policy to your new plus post policy, and even your returns policy. And you can do all that in there. The only thing I run into trouble with in the bulk editing tool is if you try to change category, say with clothing. So, for example, I had some stuff listed in the vintage clothing section, which wasn't selling, and I'm moving it over to the normal clothing section because it is selling in there. And I can change the category, but it wipes out all your item specifics. So you have to go and put all the item specifics back in, and that's a bit of a pain in the butt, but yeah, it's got to be done. If I'm going to change it over, it's got to be done. So yeah. Taven said, some people don't actually see the postage charge. I was watching a mate buy something the other week and he said, oh, look, this one's only $250. And I said, yeah, but plus $18 shipping. He didn't care. Well, there you go. You see, that's, just goes to show. It's all about your perception, isn't it? Oh, there you go. Huh. Kelly says, I think it's also a value perception sometimes. $10 is a bargain for a jacket and post is just a cost of purchasing online versus a $20. And I don't think it's worth that much. Yeah. And that's what I think. I think people look at that price and determine whether that's the right value for that item. And yeah, they make that judgment at the time, regardless of looking into whether there is post. And you're right. I think Caven's right. I think people see that post is the cost of buying online these days. Thomas says, found that with my sales also, took away the free post and had more sales. Used to think that buyers thought they were getting a deal when it was free post. Whammy. Yeah. But it's not the case, I don't think, especially these days. Rob says, I sold a set of childcraft books to Italy. Oh, nice. Earlier this year, 100 sale price and $2.25 postage. Happy customer though. Books were free and postage was around $140. That's excellent. Really good job. Well done. So were they the older cream-coloured childcraft books or the newer bright-coloured books, Rob? Just interested because I've got a heap of them here right at this moment. I have. Oh, both lots. So, yeah, I'm just curious which ones went overseas. Dave says, when you change from free post to plus post, the lower price triggers eBay if the drop is more than 5%. eBay will then email people who had looked at your item previously. Well, there you go too. See, that's another advantage of doing it that way. Yep, that's true too. Yep. And they let them know that there's a price drop. Very true. Liz says, since your last video and showing the map, I've decided to open international postage to Europe, UK, and New Zealand to smaller books at this stage. Well, I thought about it for a day. Well, that's good. I mean, that's a start. You've thought about it. So, yeah, I would look. My suggestion, Liz, is to choose a book, right? Just choose a book that's a standard size that is going to be under 500 grams. Maybe choose, look, I don't know. Whether you choose a hardcover or a paperback, that's up to you. But maybe just choose one thing and, and set it. And look, even if you only open it up for one country at this stage, just to get a hang of how to do the listing, how to do your postage policy. And then once you've done it once, you'll be surprised. You will. Pitter patter, really great info. By the way, your name is Trisha. Well, good. Thank you, Trisha. I would have asked you eventually. I would have got sick of saying pitter patter, pitter patter. I just have to say it a few times now to remember it. Yeah, it's terrible how it wipes it out. Like, yeah, but it is what it is. And look, I'm doing it for the long term good, and we hope that it'll get back. Bulk edit can reduce the buy price with a certain amount as well. Yes, it can. And you can change things from buy it now price to auction price. You can pretty much do anything in there. If you've got information in your description, for example, and you want to change it, so say, for example, you might have your item will be posted for free via OzPost, but you're changing it to Plus Post, you need to get rid of that. So you can actually replace that text. You can actually go in through the bulk editing tool and replace that text with the text that says, your item will be shipped via OzPost. So, you can do everything in that bulk editing tool. Liz had a beer or two that night, made a policy and have changed about 40 items over so far. Oh, way to go, girl. Got a bit of courage up there, which is good. Do you not get GSP in Australia? Okay, Lisa, do tell. Global shipping program. No, we do not have a global shipping program in Australia. There's been a lot of talk that we are getting it, but has not arrived. So it is down to us to organise our own shipping. So it's time to crack open can number 2. So nice. So nice. Yes. The boys and girls that have been here before will know what I'm going to do now. For those of you that are new, what I'm going to do is a little old country thing that we like to call letting the can. So we don't like to drink out of glasses in the bush because, they get broken and drop on the ground, and then, the animals walk over it and hurt their little feet, So we like to drink out of cans, and we have our soft drink here. And so that's how we save a bit of money. We buy cans of soft drink and we buy our liquor in a bottle. We have a big swig out of it. And then we just pour a little bit of that in there. And I used to be a barmaid, so I know roughly how much to pour in there without, doing a disastrous thing. And then we just swirl. And we swirl. And if you've taken just the right amount out, you'll start to see some bubbles at the top. But be careful because some stuff bubbles up quicker than others. And, away you go. Because you can't buy You can't buy swizzle sticks anymore. Who knows what a swizzle stick is? Younger people might not. Graham says, I think Childcraft book with gold pages. Okay. Yep. Got for free. Caven says, Grumpy Getty encouraging me to do international post is one of the best things that happened to me this year. The Americans are loaded. Yeah, they are. Yeah. Yep, they are. Yeah, because, things are such a bargain for them because they look at how much it is. And we might have something listed for $45, but by the time they do the conversion, because I was listening to the radio the other day and they said that the Aussie dollar had gone down again, like was worth only 60 something cents US, and I thought, oh, good. Like, I mean, I shouldn't say it like that, but look, we're in a, you know, depression as far in a sense of the way our society is with our what's the word? Oh, it's gone from me, like we're not in a recession quite, but we're in a depression, sort of thing. So it is what it is. But, while that's happening, yeah, have that lower conversion rate, because that means more Americans will buy off us. And yeah, it's good. It is good. Liz says, I've sent to New Zealand in the past, so thought maybe she'd be right. Yep. Yep. Sam says, no GSP here. That's why I was confused. I thought, oh, what is that she's talking about? And then I realised, I hope you do. It's so much easier. Yeah, look, it would be so much easier because you just send it off to that place. Oh, so I'm just having a little bit of Captain Morgan tonight. It's a spiced rum, just a plain spiced rum, which I like, spiced. Bit of spiced rum. It's Caribbean rum with spices and other natural flavours. Yeah, no, it's not a bad drop. They make a tropical one as well, but it's got pineapple in it. And no, don't really like that. Our expensive liquor. Yeah. I got given a bottle of Kraken for my birthday. That was nice. Very nice. Very, very nice. And yeah, I need my children to buy me another one. All right. Thank you for calling in, Sam. Really appreciate it. See you next time. Thank you. Aussie Nurse Flipper says, my son sells putters to the US. Yeah. See, they're mad with their golf clubs. And obviously the way they do their postage too, it must be a bit easier for them to post them, because even though, yeah, for us it's a bit more awkward, I think, because of the shape of the box. It all comes down to weight though, of course. A nice long decorative stick to swirl your drink. Yes. Or hold on to condiments like olives or cherries. Correct. And they used to always, a lot of them that you would get in the pubs and stuff would have on the top bit that you used to hang on to would have advertisements on it. So different companies would bring them out. Yeah, there's a bit of a, if you ever find it, there's a bit of a collector's market in them. $1,500 each. For each book. What do you... Oh, the putters. For each putter. I thought he was talking about the childcraft books there for a minute. So, Lisa, it is right now. Where has my clock gone? Not there. Okay, so right now it is... Just going to have a look at my phone. 9:35 p.m. So, yes, it's bedtime for some. So that is what time it is. What time is it where you are, Lisa? Oh, Flipper J's back. What is it, quarter time, half time or something with the footy or something? Dave says it works better when you take a swig from the bottle and then top it up with soft drink. Yeah. Yeah, nah, not a good idea. Oh, yeah. Trisha, did I get it right? Hope so. Trisha, I think that's right. I think I'm right. Am I? So 12:35 p.m. So in the afternoon, I presume. So just afternoon, I presume that would be. Oh, and Graham posts his son's putters for him. Well, what are you doing posting them for him? Make him do it himself if he's sending them over there, I would say. Make your kids to be grown-ups and do their things themselves. That's what I reckon. That's what I say. That's my theory on parenting. Much to my own children's disgust. And much to my own children's disgust, when I would get told stories about them, and I used to come home and I'd say to them, I will assume that you are guilty until I prove you innocent. If I prove you innocent, I will back you to the nth degree, but I'll always assume that you did the wrong thing. So don't lie to me, tell me the truth. And yeah, it worked. And I did. I always, if another parent told me one of my kids had done something, or another kid told me that one of my kids had done something, I believed that until I fronted my kid, and then if they could convince me that they hadn't, then I backed them till the nth degree. And yeah, worked well, because then they were less likely to lie to me that they didn't do it when they did. So I thought I would show you some books that you might find interesting. Now, there's a few of these. This one, if you ever find these in the wild, and these are the Fontana Book of Great Ghost Stories, and they're just a little thin, pardon me, there, I'm bringing my drink up, burping, and just a little thin paperback, which, look, you could send this as a letter in one of the C5 envelopes. I wouldn't, because I would want to put this in cardboard with a cardboard protective sleeve on it, because of the value and how old it is. And this is in really good, really nice condition. Slight bit of yellowing to the pages, but it's in really great condition. And this is from 1964. It's a first edition. And it's, basically a collection of short ghost stories. And it is quite expensive. I should have had them already, shouldn't I? The prices, but I just quickly grabbed some off the shelf beforehand and thought I would show you a few books. And I'll just bring up, just bear with me while I go into my little eBay store and bring up my active listings. I haven't quite worked out yet how to share my computer screen and stuff, but I will try to do all that before I do another live stream, so that, like, rather than then, I hope my computer's not going to stop working. Okay, I'm just going to back out of there and come back to here. If I disappear, I'll be back. It's because my laptop has died, which sometimes it does. It's an older laptop, and it doesn't like working too hard. And it might be slowing down. I can hear the fan and that wearing up, and I can always tell when it's going to cark it on me. But maybe it's slowing down again. Yeah, it didn't like me going out of there. But if someone else wants to look it up on eBay, the Fontana Book of Great Ghost Stories, I'm sure you would find it. So I've got it listed for well over $100. I think somewhere at $140, somewhere like that. And not bad for a 50-cent investment, I say. Jane said she had a nanny nap this afternoon, so she can stay up late. Nice one. Yeah, I was a bit naughty because I was on a Zoom meeting last night, and I stayed up till the very, very end of the meeting, which I don't normally. And then there was another meeting after that, and I thought I might just sit on that one too and see what it's all about. And went to bed very late. But anyway, all in good fun. Oh, so I did get it right. We're doing the time. No alcohol for me tonight. Having a banana split BM. Oh, nice. Haven't had one of those for years. Didn't know they still made them. There you go. Lisa is having a cup of tea and says books are hard to sell in the UK. Really? So the market's different. But see, I send a few over there. Like, people over there collect books. Or is it because, or is it more that modern books are harder to sell, or the vintage books? Because most of my stuff is vintage. Alan Starbuck, hello. Thank you for coming into the live. Good to see you. And so Alan is also from the UK. So that is great. Thank you very much. T sounds good. Yeah, T sounds good. Anthony says, I found most of my listings with no international shipping on them. You found most of your listings with, so you found out that you thought you had international shipping, but you didn't really. Well, there you go. You better fix that. Quick smart. Young man. Just got an email from eBay advising a buyer has lodged a payment dispute with the payment institution directly. Oh, I haven't had one of those. So, yeah. Wow. I hope it doesn't, I hope old algorithm doesn't start stuffing you around too much with that one either. That's not good when those things start happening. Alan Starbuck, we have a company in the UK that makes boxes for golf clubs. Oh, there you go. So there's enough golf clubs in the UK that get sent. Yeah. See, I always think, isn't it funny? I mean, I guess you've got golf courses over there, haven't you? But, I wouldn't imagine there'd be as many because it's such a small landmass. There wouldn't be as many golf clubs, but maybe there is more than I realise. Why they lodged the payment dispute? Yes, do tell us the whole story. Yeah, I think he might have. I was a bit surprised he stayed awake long enough to come in and say good day. The buyer says the buyer did not recognise the transaction. Oh, so they're saying they didn't buy it. Interesting. Well, it'd be interesting to see if where the buyer lives, if that is where the parcel got sent to and all that sort of stuff, isn't it? And how that one works out. Yeah, that's a bit of a worry. As long as you have tracking, eBay will cover your ass in a payment dispute. Yeah. And that's the thing. If you've got tracking, you should be right because it's going to show where it got delivered to. Lisa says, it's because we have a company on eBay called World of Books. Okay, they're like one of the biggest sellers in the UK. And they sell stuff so cheap, rare books we can make money on. Okay. There you go. Jen's checked it for me. I've got this listed for $139. So if you do happen to see that one in the wild, definitely worth picking up. There are later, I think there may be a couple of later versions. This is the first one, which is the most valuable one. And I mean, this one is in great condition. Like there's hardly any creasing on the spine, no fading, which is great. So that all adds to the fact that, it's, worth that bit of extra money. But yeah, the next one's down would still be worth a bit, but perhaps not as much as that. Octo actually says that he is still here. He's just busy plotting world domination behind the scenes. He might be all trying to organise a new hostage form to surprise me with, maybe. Maybe. Kelly says that sucks, Dave. She had one of those. Luckily, it came out in her favour, but took 30 days to resolve and traffic and sales slowed significantly. Oh, see, it's wrong, isn't it? I think it's wrong that if you've got an INAD or, in this case, a payment dispute, I think it's wrong that your traffic gets throttled because it may not necessarily be your fault. Like, until it gets sorted, they shouldn't do that. But anyway, that's what happens, I suppose. Graham says, good on you, Octo. Wow Games. Oh, hello, Wow Games. You're here. Good to see you. Yes, we have all been keeping well as possible, except it's chilly tonight. Oh, it's an untracked item and a zero feedback buyer. Oh. So what will you do? Will you just pay that out or, yeah, how do you work on that? Yeah. This is why I don't like untracked. This is why I don't do untracked. Oh, dear me. See? Hopefully eBay will back you up. Yeah, possibly not when it's untracked. Young Adam, where have you been hiding? Have you been hiding under the bookshelf somewhere? Because I haven't seen you all week, young man. What have you been doing? I'm pretty sure I have it. I'm sure you do too. I'm sure you have a copy of it somewhere. And so you could dig it out and list it, couldn't you? Where you been? What have you been doing? You better cough up because, you have been extremely quiet, too quiet for my liking, young man. Tricia says over 2,400 registered golf clubs in the UK, says Mr. Google. Wow. Who would have thought? Oh, check how many there are in Australia. And like that'd be interesting to compare, seeing as we've got so much space, you know. That would be interesting. I remember a few years back in the UK they play night golf. Oh, okay. Yeah, you'd have to have a lot of lights, wouldn't you? Or do you have a torch on you? You wouldn't know where you're hitting the ball. I won a game of golf years ago. I think it was the only time I've played golf, like other than mini golf, you know. Back in the day when I was in Young Farmers organisation. Anyone else here that was in Young Farmers? Do tell, because you don't have to be one, you know. Caven says, untracked or just refund and block. If you challenge it, you will lose both item and they'll charge you a $20 fee. Yep, there you go. Good advice, probably. Yep. And the sooner you refund it, the sooner that it's all over and done with and you can get back to traffic. I'd be saying too. Kelly says, if the dollars are low, I'd settle and move on. The lost sales will cost you more. Yeah, yeah. And presumably if you sent it untracked, it wasn't worth very much. So, you know, I guess that's, yeah, depends on the value. Has no proof of delivery. Just Mason is still threatening Ashton with the white van every time he sees one. That's funny. So Anthony's sons are trying to get Octo to kidnap. One of them's trying to get Octo to kidnap his brother. Oh, I think that's funny. 1,800 in Australia. So we've got a lot less. Wow. Isn't that amazing? Well, no wonder they have a company that makes boxes to put putters in. That is funny. Oh, yeah, here we go. I've been busy sorting rooms and listing books. Have you now? You haven't been reporting in. So what are we going to do about that? I think that needs to change this week. I think you need to report into Grumpy Granny every day, young man. Or at least every couple of days, because, you know, we never know whether you're dead or alive. I like giving Adam a hard time. Let's just say he's a little bit inconsistent when it comes to listing, and I you know, get my pitchfork out and chase him around until he starts listing every day. Well, I try to get him to list every day. It doesn't always work. I played pitch and putt once. Oh, I have no idea what that is. Sounds a bit scary to me. Agree. No, worth the $27 dispute fee. Yep. Yep. An extra fee, that is bad. Yeah. See, you've got to take all that into account. So, yeah. So this is, 139 plus post, because I do plus post on that. So, yes. Very good. Very good. Scotty. How you going, Scott Garvin? You had one open a case for IND, but left good feedback saying it arrived safe. He closed it in 5 minutes after he pointed that out. Yeah, look, they often do that, don't they? They forget that they've left the feedback to say that it was great, and then, yeah. Some buyers. Which vintage publications are worth looking out for, like Corgi, Fontana? Look, it depends. There's a few. Some of the earlier Fontana stuff is good. The one that's mostly... Corgis are good. Corgis generally tend to be good, I'm going to say, but probably... Oh, I've gone blank. Let me think about that. Pan paperbacks. People collect pan paperbacks because they had a unique look, and particularly in the 70s and 60s, they actually had a look, and people collect them. And some of those are actually getting quite valuable. Are we ever going to see Octo's real face one day? No, you don't want to. Believe me, you don't want to. And hey, look, after all this time of me doing the live stream with him and doing the podcast with him, I haven't got to see him, so why should you? Honestly. We're going to say hi, Adam. Yes. Everyone say hi, Adam. Now you're in trouble. Books along with stuff. Yes, Adam is in trouble. He's been a naughty boy. Octo, only scary in water. On land he is slow. Yeah, well, he likes to think that he's fast, but, you know, an 8-foot-tall octopus can't move very fast. Like, there's a lot of mass there, and he's got these, you know, the way he's got to get around is with his tentacles. Just be careful how I say that. Oh, a mini version of golf. Okay. All right. So, like putt golf. Yeah. Mini golf. My son works in a golf club. Too lazy to bring me home the boxes. Well, I'd be telling him where to get off, Graham. Honestly, make him do it himself. Speaking of pitchforks, Grumpy Granny, on your recent video, your feedback was, yeah, it was 666. No, it was. I did notice that. And I was too scared because when I had 444 subscriptions on my YouTube channel, John the Reseller thought I was going to die because 4 is the sign of death in Chinese. Was it Chinese, I think? Anyway, in one of them. One of the Asian superstitions. And I saw the 666 and I was nearly tempted to send John a picture of it. And then I thought, no, because I don't want him to tell me what bad thing's going to happen to me now. So, yeah, I'll let that one be. So Dave just closed the case and the buyer is now blocked. Good boy. That's it. Don't be frightened to block buyers that give you a hard time. Slightly faster than old lady, Scotty. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't be scared to block buyers. Like, and if people are annoying the kajibas out of you and wasting your time, block them. So, for example, I had someone a while ago, like I'm going to say a month ago, tried to buy a particular set of VHS videos that I had a bundle and really lowballed me. Like, you know, there was value in these VHS. And they really lowballed me. And I counted every lowball offer. You know, I gave them a good discount, but I counted every lowball offer. And then finally sent my final offer and they declined it. Well, lo and behold, back again they come and did it again. Gave me the same offers. I went back to the same price, my bottom dollar price that I was going to accept on these. And we went through the whole thing again. And yeah, got to the last one and he declined it again. And I thought, I'm not doing this again. It's ridiculous. So I blocked him. After I blocked him, I then went in and checked his feedback. Not the feedback that people have given him, the feedback that he left other people. And I can tell you right now, I escaped by the skin of my teeth. I'm so glad that I didn't accept one of his shitty lowball offers because, you know, I think on the page, like when I brought up the screen, I could see like 12 feedback and 2 of those were okay. Every single other one, there was something wrong with whatever they'd bought. So, yeah, just be a bit wary of those people. Scott's laughing. Vintage Penguin are good as well. They are. I have to say, Corgi and Pan tend to be of the highest values. That being said, the Fontana ones are, but the Fontana ones, there weren't as many. So these are published by Collins, I'm pretty sure. Or is this pre-Collins? Let me have a look. So this is Fontana Books 964, which would be pre-Collins, but Collins obviously bought them out at some point. So you will get some later books that are Fontana, and they'll be published by William Collins. They do things. So, yeah, they're quite... oh, my God, I have a heap of Wilbur Smith Pan paperbacks. Yeah, look, and Liz, you know, don't get uber excited and think, oh, because you've got some Pan paperbacks, because it does come down to, with the Pan ones, it'll come down to the era, it'll come down to the artwork. The artwork is the thing with a lot of them. People particularly like the artwork. So, sorry, I've just seen Octo's comment. Yeah, so it does come down to the artwork a lot of the times. You might have some Pan ones, but if they're later ones, say from the 80s, although they might still have some reasonable value, they mightn't be as valuable as ones that, say, came out in the 60s. So just, yeah, it just depends. Depends. It's like Broadway show, The Phantom of the Opera, yeah. You see my real face whenever I'm on. Yes, and I keep telling people that is his real face. He's an octopus. You just have to stop trying to work out who he is and accept the fact that the disgruntled octopus is actually real and he's an octopus. People say, how can you sit in that mask all that time and do the podcast? Well, he doesn't, because it's his real face. Graham says, I think Octo's name is Rob. Oh. Roboto? Roboto? I don't know. Haven't listened to any yet? Yep. Check out the comps on them, Liz, because they may be worth it. Like, as I said, depending on, because I came across some that were 60s and I thought, oh, ripper, because I'd had similar books in the 70s and thought, yeah, great. But actually the 70s ones were more valuable than the 60s because of the artwork. So, yeah, it just depends. Chris says, great stream, GG, been lurking. Oh, thank you. Great convo. 32. Oh, is there really? I didn't. See, I get carried away talking too much. Everyone would be surprised that I talk so much, funnily enough. Watching folks go, love the GG. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Really do. And you would have to admit, Chris, that this little background here and the setup here is better than what I showed you earlier. Like, it is much nicer and all the rest of it. So, yeah, I need to work on the other area. Yes, I would too, Sandra. I'd be visiting him at work and pick up the boxes. No, I wouldn't. I would not. I would not be posting him for him. If he wants to sell them to the US or wherever he's selling them to, he should be packaging them up and sending them himself. Got to put his big boy pants on and learn to do it himself. Not in person, Alan. We have not seen Mel's. A lot of us haven't seen Mel's warehouse in person, but she has a lot of books. Mel does a slightly different model of selling books than myself. So Mel and I were having a discussion the other night, and she said that some of the older, rarer books, like they require that special person to come and buy them. So they're what we call a long tail item versus a book that'll sell for a lower price and quicker, which is more what she sells. And she didn't know whether she wanted to have books and wait for that special buyer. And I said, Mel, my entire bookstore is full of those books. That's pretty much mostly all I sell. Most of my newer books probably are going to be fantasy, teenage fiction generally. So, yeah, I don't do a lot of other modern books. Oh, okay, Chris, thank you. Thank you. Settle in for the night. Wanted to make sure you get the credit of a great stream. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Yeah. And I'm glad that your lovesick illness will be all over in a couple of days. Yay! You look forward to seeing Carla. It'll be 888 soon. Yes, it will. God help me when it's 888, because, yeah, it'll be me that'll be going in the white van. But it won't be to Octo's lair. It'll be to the nut house. Actually, before, I think the last time I looked, I was at 490, 496, I think. So I was 4 off getting to 500, which is pretty special, I think. And Lisa says she blocks non-payers. Yes, block those non-payers because they'll only go and do the same again. Lisa says, I have one on Depop, being a pain at the moment, wanting me to try jeans on. And Lisa, don't. No, because I've been down that route. Not that I was trying the jeans on, because I just, anyway, that's a whole other story. But people will do that because they want to see you wearing the jeans, not because they want to buy your jeans. They're actually trying to get you to try them on so they can get a photo of you. Don't do it. take some measurements for them with a bloody ruler. Would be my advice. Flipper J says, I love your Chrome extension. Didn't realise it did all those things. Yes, it did. I just thought it only removed the extra eBay thingy in the address. No, it doesn't. It does more. It does. And Tricia says, good night all. The US Open semi start at 5 a.m. tomorrow. Was a great live. Thanks, Gigi. Not all. Night. Thanks, Trish. Good to have you in. Hope you'll come back again. Will be great to have you. Yep, new version out tomorrow. Oh, exciting. What's this one going to do? And Scott says, night. And he's watching the NFL weekend. What's, is that like rugby or something like that? No knowledge what that is. In my part of the country, we play Aussie rules. Yes, I'll be keeping an eye out too. I will. And Ellen says, Lisa Blockham had one myself for a pair of shoes. Yes, mine was for a pair of shoes. But Ellen, interestingly, he wanted to know, did I have any photos of me wearing the shoes with a pair of jeans on? How about that one? And it was fun. I mean, because they obviously weren't my shoes. So, but anyway, I wanted to see. I did lead the guy on I did lead him on just a little bit, just to see how far he would go, because I wanted to see if that's really what he was after. Yeah, and a couple of messages back and forth, and yes, he straight out was asking me to for photos of me wearing the shoes in a pair of jeans. So I think the shoe fetish people may have jeans fetish people as well, and he might have had both. I don't think you can block on Depop. That's a bugger, isn't it? Yeah, don't answer him though. I wouldn't answer him. And if you can report people, because they should not be asking you to try the garment on. So just say you can reply back to them and say you are unable to show images of you wearing the jeans. However, you are happy to take measurements. And I bet you never hear back from him again. I could be wrong, but I bet. Yep, sounds like a pervert, doesn't it? Yep. Witness protection. Yeah, that's good. Scott says, need a book video, Grumpy, as your knowledge is vast on old books, as I like to watch people chat and talk about things I would never chase. It's good. I have got some more books to show you in a minute. I just thought I would catch up on the chat because I was starting to get a bit behind. Only problem is when you send offers to watchers, you don't know who receives them until the after. Yeah, that's true. That is true. You don't. But yeah, we block people when we can. How's your sourcing been this week, Fanny Rivers? No, have not been sourcing this week. No, tell a lie. I went to the op shop. I shouted myself an hour at the op shop today, just the local one. I'm trying not to source before I go and have my surgery, purely because honestly, I do have enough here that I can go on with, and the time, because I have to travel, apart from going to my local op shop, which I'm only going to get a limited amount of stuff anyway. I mean, I have to go, even to go to the closest next town, that's a good half an hour travel to get there and half an hour back. And then, so the one that I would choose to go to first has 3 op shops, half an hour in each op shop even. So that's an hour that's 2.5 hours. I could list a lot of stuff in 2.5 hours. And I want to try and get my draft bank up there so that while I'm in hospital and recovering afterwards, that I've got, even though I'm in time away, I still want to have listings going up to try and make the, I don't want to wreck my store any more than it's already wrecked through my own stupidity. So there you go. Dave says, had a buyer accept a DVD offer who had a sea of red feedback for INR, so I made sure it was sent tracked. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's often the case. They're just serial pests. Yes, it is very uncharacteristic of me, isn't it? Isn't it? I just said tonight because I did. So what I was doing tonight, which when you may have alluded to when I was talking to Chris, was this is my little podcast area here where I do the podcast. But my main desk and everything's out in the next room out here. And I have my big computer there, and I've just got a second monitor for that computer. And I've actually, it's an old computer. It runs Windows 7. That's how old it is. But it's a battle axe and it keeps going. So I've added a webcam and a microphone to it. And I thought I might be able to do some of the lives from in there, because then I could actually show you, work out how to show stuff on screen, and it won't die like this one would do if I try and go over and look up stuff. So yeah, but the lighting in there is terrible, and my monitor's so big that it's high. So like the view is like this. So I look like I'm looking up, whereas when I'm really not. So yeah, I need to do a few adjustments. Look, I could have done it, but I would have had to shift all my lights from in here, in there, and yeah, I don't want to do that before my surgery, because I want to put I don't want to waste time doing that sort of stuff, because that's all time when I'm taking it in, putting it back. I could have listed 2 things, like that sort of stuff. Okay. Flipper J says, I do plus post. I sell overseas, and it helps if you have plus post, say $40 free post, $30 plus post. It looks cheaper for the international buyers. Yeah, it does. It really does. Thomas says, Lisa, if you want to block the user altogether, just go to the user's account, tap the... Oh, there you go. Good. Thomas knows how to do it. Mel is scarier at 5 a.m. than she is in her videos. Ah, yes. Poor Mel. Poor Mel. But we won't tell her you said that. Oh, dear. I never take pictures of me wearing them. Good. Michelle P. 1st September buyer opened account. 2nd, they purchased. 4th, I posted. 6th, reported damaged. Refunded. Case closed. Case blocked to report to eBay. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Someone that's just opened the account, and obviously, probably, serial pest. They all act in a similar way. Oh, you're still here. Hubby and I are visiting Mel in October on our travels down. Oh, yeah, because you'll come down. I'm thinking, but she'll be up, but she's up from us. Her interview with that US bookseller was really good. Yeah, it was great. And I really appreciated someone that had the same thoughts on books as I have, and, look, I'm not going to say that I'm hugely environmentally green or whatever, I think a lot of things we do are silly to a point, because they make our life more uncomfortable, and they're silly because, they're not going to make that much difference. I shouldn't say that, should I? But I also think we should recycle things. It's just the way it is. That's how I grew up. You don't necessarily have to buy all your kids new clothes all the time. I used to get all my cousins' hand-me-downs, and they were really good because they had a lot more money than my parents did. And the same with books. Like, for these books to get, and look, I'm a book lover. I'm always have been, and it just, it breaks my heart to think they'd be going in the dumpster. Which the ones that I'm about to show you, probably anyone would have looked at them and thought they should have gone in the dumpster. So yeah, I really appreciated his attitude and his sharing of his knowledge. I had someone ask me to take photos of me wearing some high heels I had for sale. I said, sorry, they don't fit me. They bought them anyway. I was surprised. Yeah. Well, yeah, I kind of went through that. I had someone that wanted this pair of shoes, and they didn't really want to buy them, I don't think. Mel said, I had a guy kept on wanting me to send photos of the zips of jeans. It took a while for me to catch on what he was doing. Yeah, because you just don't think, like, I think this guy was my second sort of foot fetish person, I reckon, the one I was saying about, the one of the photo of me wearing the jeans. And the first time, and it was just lucky because I take a size 12 in a shoe. So when they're asking me to try on a size 7, I can't. Well, yeah, I think I said the first one, oh, yeah, I could put my big toe in that. But yeah, so I couldn't have if I'd wanted to, but yeah, it takes a while to realise, doesn't it? Then you hear some other people saying things about that sort of stuff. Yes, Andrew agrees that interview was really, really good. Jane says, have one guy who buys women's jeans and he always wants photos of the zippers. Asked me once if I was curious why. He would tell me. You know, you don't want to know. You do not want to know. Well, see, I get around that because when I do my listings, I take a photo of the zipper. So maybe that's why I don't get that request. Because surely I sell a lot of jeans. You would really think that, yeah. Alan said, would not have been bad, but I'm a man and the shoes were women's. Yeah, true. Yeah, yeah. Might have been fun. Might have made a good video for YouTube. Are you putting your shop in holiday mode when you go to hospital? Yes, I am. The only thing I haven't decided on, which I'm going to try and get a little bit of thoughts from a few people, is whether I allow sales during that time or whether I just say no sales. I'm kind of torn at the moment because it'd be good to know that there's that money's coming in, but then also it'll mean when I get back, that's a lot of parcels potentially that I have to pack. So yeah, not sure about that one. Having a draft bank is great. It is. And unfortunately, because I was doing real life grannying with my grandchildren, I used all of my draft bank and I don't have any, like I haven't been able to build it up much. Only, you know, I'm about halfway there of what I need for a week. But I would ideally, I'd like to have 2 weeks worth of listings at a minimum of 10 a day is what I would ideally like. So yeah, we'll see how we go. I've got a week to get there. Okay, thanks, Sandra. Bye. Bye, bye, bye. You're probably well and truly gone because it's, she has 5 more minutes. Maybe she hasn't gone. What's that, 10:09? I can't see what the time is for some reason. I don't know why it doesn't show up on here. Hi, Beck. Good to see you. Good to see you. Think you're doing a great job, Gigi. Still watching Carlton and Swans game, but loving your streams. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Puppy Dog Diary says she's off. They are off too. They've been up since 5 a.m. Thank you for coming, and I will see you on the next one. Yeah, getting up at 5 a.m. is scary. I have to be at the hospital at 6 a.m. the morning of my surgery, which probably means like getting up at 3:30 or something. I don't know. Yeah, don't know yet. Haven't quite decided yet. Yeah, I might think about staying somewhere close to the hospital, maybe in town, because where I'm going to be staying after my surgery is out at Werribee, and I can stay there the night before and they'll drive me in, but it kind of feels a bit unfair on them. But anyway, we'll see. Hello, Justin St. John. Good evening. Good of you to pop in and say good day. Paul said there's an eBay Bad Buys block list group too. Is there really a group? If you do media, Tom shares a great list. Yeah, I have a friend that's got a big list and he shared it with me. It wasn't Tom, but yes, someone that I know quite well, and they gave me their list, and I've been adding to it since then. Sourcing strategy is fantastic, and kudos to him. Yep, true. How long? Well, I don't know. So with the type of operation I'm having these days, they get you out and about very quickly, and could be 1 night, could be 2 nights, which, you know, kind of is a bit freaky. And then they send you home. It's kind of weird though, because they don't take into account that whether you're from the country or not. So I have a 3-hour trip. Well, it would be 4 hours to drive from here to get into the city to the Royal Melbourne Hospital. Would take me 4 hours at least, and that's without peak hour traffic. So after the operation, I can't sit for longer than periods than 30 minutes at a time for a while. So that's going to be a fun trip on the way home, isn't it? But, you know, I mean, they're saying to me I can go home, there's no way I'm going home straight away, because if something does happen to go wrong in those first few days, I don't want to have to travel all the way back down again. So I'm going to stay with my friend in Werribee. Only if you have someone to help you pack when you get back, leave it turned on. Yeah, true. Yeah, I don't know whether I have got anyone that I would. I'm a bit dear, waiting for the book show. Oh, you're waiting for me to show you the books, are you? Yeah, there is a limit. Look, I'm only going to put it in holiday mode for time away for a week. I think it might actually be 10 days, I think. So my friend is like my sister, like we're very, very close. So her kids are like my nieces and nephews. And one of them's birthday is just over a week after I had my operation. So I'm kind of figuring, and he's having a little bit of a party because he's 25. So I'm figuring I might stay down for that and then come home after that. Blocking is fun. Yeah, it is fun, isn't it? Yep. Do you worry about operations? Hospitals? No, not at all. Oh, look, there's no point. I've had 2 knee replacements done, and I left them too long to get them done. So my mobility was shot before then, but I didn't want to put my mum into care because she would have had to go in for care for like 6 weeks if I'd had my knee replacements done. And I didn't want to do that because she wouldn't have been able to come out because she would have got institutionalized at her age and with the level of dementia she had. So I didn't want to do it. So I waited until after she'd passed away to have my knee replacements done. And oh boy, let me tell you, the physios and that couldn't believe that at my age, I did get told, at my age and my size, that I was getting up and doing all the exercises so well and doing all the walking. It was great. I was in so much less pain than what I had been prior to the knee replacements getting done. So I figured the same with my back. Like I've had part of this back injury for over 35 years, I'm going to say. So yeah, to, have back pain that I've learnt to live with all that time, and to be finally getting something done about it. Yeah, looking forward to it. Apart from the fact that I've got a numb leg from my knee down to my foot, I can't feel my foot. And things have changed with that. So, which is the reason I'm actually getting it done now, because it's bad enough for them to actually do it now. So they tell me, yep. So yeah, that's my thought. You wouldn't want to just go in and just do anything, have surgery for no reason. But yeah, when it's warranted, you should definitely lay down on the way home. That possibly might be difficult if I'm driving. No, I won't be driving. I'll have to get someone to come and pick me up. But yeah, I'm not sure you can. The disgruntled octopus says he can't feel his feet either. He doesn't have any bloody feet, just his tentacles. See, I'm being so good pronouncing that word, aren't I? Yep. So is there anyone in the group tonight that hasn't seen Wally and Wanda My Hats? So speak now, because I will put them on if there is anyone in the group that hasn't seen them and you would like to see them. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to decide whether you want to see them. They're my little crocheted hats. No, doesn't look like anyone does. Okay. Never seen it, Lisa. Okay, here we go. I shall just reach around behind me and find my little hats. So my friend crochets, and she made me this little octopus that is the same color as Octo, of course. And this is something else that she makes, and I'm selling these for her on eBay. So here we go. What do you think? Let me see. I'll turn her all the way around. so you can see it a bit better. Just got to get it on the right angle. With the little, yeah, maybe I should turn it around a bit. That way. Can't see without my glasses on. Whether you can see it properly. But yeah, that's if you couldn't work it out now, that's really, yeah, I have actually sold one, Jen. I have indeed, and this is Wilma, which is the female version, which, as I said, you could actually get away with this as just a little crocheted thing, because people would just think it was a little flower, which I suppose in some ways it is. But yeah, I must tell it, because that one, the Willy one, is quite small compared to this one. So yeah, she probably needs to make a bigger one in that one. All right, more books. Here we go. See, these look like, don't you think? Like, they almost look, they're not very exciting when it comes to the artwork. They're in not so great condition. They're pretty crappy condition. And if you're looking at them on the shelf, that's what you're going to see. There's nothing enticing about these books whatsoever. And they are actually quite valuable. So if you can get the whole set, now, I think there is, I should have a look, shouldn't I? How many there are? Is it going to tell me? Sometimes they tell you, sometimes they do not. Pardon me. I am burping well tonight, boys and girls. Let me see. No, still none in that one. I'll have a look in the next one. Nope. All right. So these books are all called the Castlereagh line. So that's actually the same book, but two different versions of it. And the Castlereagh line was made into some of you might remember it, but they were, the hats. They're beanies, of course. These are an Australian author, and this was made famous because it was turned into a radio serial, and some of you may remember the Castlereagh line, and it was all about stagecoaches and bush rangers and all those sorts of things. Ran for a long, long time, and so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's 6, maybe 6 books in all. So they start with the Castlereagh line. There is I can't remember which order they're in. The Castlereagh, Colours of Castlereagh, the Castlereagh Way. Oh, that one, the Castlereagh Way. So I think it goes Castlereagh line, Castlereagh Way, Colours of Castlereagh, and then I think Rose of Castlereagh. Yes, Flipping Farm Girl says there's 7 in the series. Jen, do you want to look those up for me again, please? That would be nice. So if you can get the whole series, so I found 4 of them in an op shop, and they were these ones, which are the first edition ones, and their condition is pretty bad. So as you can see with the creasing on the spine and stuff. So no, I had 5 of them, so I needed 2 more. And then later on, I actually found the next one. I could not find the last one. If you can get the whole set, these are like over $1,000 for the set. Look, the price may have changed a bit since I last comped it, but yeah, if you can get the whole set of 7, you'll get, big dollars. Unfortunately, I could not find all 7, but that being said, for an old crappy looking paperback, they are actually worth, your $60, $70, $40, $50. Some of them are worth more than others because some of the, there was more printed of some than others. I need to get my new glasses adjust it a little bit because I keep slipping down my nose. Yeah, so some of them are worth, and of course, you know, the first editions are going to be more valuable than the next edition, like than the next series. So, yeah, interesting little lot of books, and yeah, as I said, for quite crappy older ones, looking books, good money. But yeah, and you know, look, doggone it, I've only got 5 left. Yeah, so I've got mine listed for 40 plus 11.50 post, which essentially makes them, I've got them listed, say, around the $52 mark. If you're doing free post. So, yeah. Ones to keep out for. Your eye out for are the Castlereagh line. And if you, as I said, if you're lucky enough to find the whole lot of them, good luck to you, because I couldn't find it. I'm just going to put those in there, out of the way. And then I need to have another swig of my drink. Of course. Okay. Now, we will have to have a little, what time is it? 10:28. Yes. Very likely may need to have a little potty break shortly. So I will show you a couple more books first, though. One book, 1985 one. You have that one, do you? Yeah. Flipper J says, found a... Yes, on older books it doesn't often list the series. And particularly like those ones weren't published by one of the big publishers either. So that makes a difference too. Flipper J says, found a bunch of parliamentary quarterly essay books written by prominent journalists. Yeah, look, certainly worth having a look at. I don't know whether I've found anything like that, but they may be, because that's a very niche thing. They very likely have quite some good value, I would say. Yeah, I would be checking those out without seeing them and you know, being able to look them up. I've not come across anything like that, but I do know that a lot of those sorts of things, parliamentary books, and that sort of thing, and can be very valuable. And that's what it's the niche market. It's getting those, just like the gentleman that was in Mel from Burnout's video. It's books that have got just that really fine niche. Now, this is a nice one. Do you want to look this one up, Jen? So this is called The Blythes Are Quoted by L.M. Montgomery, which you would recognize the author. So that's L.M. Montgomery. The Blythes Are Quoted. Carlton's apparently winning. Oh, no, or are we just barracking, are we? Let's go, Carlton. Let's go, the Swans. Yeah, no, I don't care either way. So this book is the rediscovered last work of Ellen Montgomery. So it was found well and truly after she passed away and then published. And I do have to say, the dust jacket is gorgeous, like a lot of gilt inlay in there, and the embossing, which is really beautiful. And I'm going to actually show you the book, because the book is even more beautiful. How nice is that? Look at all the gilt on it. Isn't it beautiful? So, yes, there is a lot of gold leaf on that there book. So it is a beautiful book. And I'll tell you. So I have mine listed for $189 with post. That one's including post, is it? Just checking. Not sure. Plus post or... Well, I mean, yeah. Anyway, you get the idea. It's worth a lot of money. And quite a departure from some of her other works. So the opening line of what's on the dust jacket says, adultery, illegitimacy, revenge, murder, and death. These are not the first terms we associate with Ellen Montgomery. But in The Blythes Are Quoted, completed at the end of her life, the author brings topics such as these to the fore. Intended by Montgomery to be the 9th volume in her best-selling series featuring Anne Shirley Blythe, The Blythes Are Quoted takes Anne and her family a full 2 decades beyond anything else she published about them, and some of its subject matter is darker than we might expect. So it's divided into 2 sections. There's one before and after the Great War, which is the First World War. So yeah, so that's one to keep out for. Probably like the dust jacket's nice, but that in itself wouldn't have necessarily drawn me to it. I probably, if I'd seen the book first without the dust jacket, you would be more wanting to find it. But like this one, when I found it, is in great condition. Like it's in really nice, neat condition, almost like new. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I thought to myself, and I don't want to put it on the floor, so hang on. I should have made some room for the books, shouldn't I, when I was going to do book show and tell? So I'm talking about... Oh, no, it did not, Dave. Okay. Post extra, yes. Okay. I thought it should be. I pretty much do plus post on all of them now. Yeah, do that and let us know how you go, Flipper J, because be interested to see how they are. So Dave's asking, did my Arabic dictionary get paid for? No, it did not. I will say, though, I'll give the buyer his due that when I messaged him the second day, so on the first day I send them an invoice, and then on the second day, this is when I accept an offer that someone sent me, I sent an invoice straight away. But because I was here, I didn't send it straight away. It was a little bit after. And so on the second day, I sent him a message, don't send another invoice because that'll reset the 4-day wait that you have before you can cancel it if it's for, if they don't pay. Anyway, I asked him, was he still wanting to go ahead? And he replied back to me that no, unfortunately, he didn't want to go ahead because he didn't realise the postage would cost so much. And look, that's fine. But at least he got back to me. I was actually able to cancel it and get it back up running, which, having other people look at it before, 4 days had gone past. So this was one I showed that I photographed on Thursday. Anyone that was in the accountability hour, I actually photographed this book. So this one's called The Land Boomers. Look, this one hasn't got huge value, but it's more to show you the type of stuff I look for and why I chose this book. Don't shy away. If you've got books that are of good subject matter or a good author, don't shy away from getting ex-library books. Because this one in particular, like this has had this final protective covering on it, would have been since it was new. So that dust jacket is going to be in amazing condition. Yes, it's going to perhaps have a sticker or two. Sometimes the stickers are inside, sometimes they're outside. But apart from that, there's no fading. It's been really well, looked after. The downside is that sometimes you will get, problems with sticky tape and stuff. And you can see what's happened here. I'm not quite sure, but something's sticky tape has been on there. Some of the places, a couple of the places around here have, and this is listed for $39.95 plus $11.50 post. They have folded their plastic in a way that there's no sticky tape on the actual book, which is fantastic. When I take photos of books, I always take the dust jacket off and take a photo of the book without the dust jacket on. I don't do it when it's got one of these on because I'm not going to take all that off. So unless it slips off, I don't. But subject matter. And this has got all the stuff from the library in the back. So some people actually like that. So leave them in because they can chuck it away if they want to. So yeah, keep it in. Thomas says my 14 Bears Summer and Winter by Evelyn Scott for $2.99.95 plus shipping is nice. Yes, it is. Very nice. Just need someone to buy it. Alan says Castlereagh Books Heritage Cross Line Way rose colours are the only ones I can find. GG. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Nah. Got it. I'm pretty sure there's one more. Or they're the only books you can find for sale. Yeah. If you just try Googling the Castlereagh line and with the author's name, and that may bring up what's in the series. Yeah. But anyway, I couldn't find the last one in the series, and I'm pretty sure I had all of those. Definitely had the rose ones, yeah. But anyway, getting back to this book. So this book's called The Land Boomers, and it's about the gold rush. So it's a unique sort of a topic. People like finding out about the gold rush. And yeah, it's illustrated, so it's got some really cool illustrations in it, as well as some photos. And it's, apart from being a library book, which some people might say they don't like that, but it doesn't devalue it, quite honestly. Yeah, I don't think at all. I mean, it's more about the condition. I mean, the fact that that has happened devalues it more than the fact that it's a library book, to my mind. And I'd say that has happened in the, whether someone in the op shop has tried to pull that off or don't know, or whether that has, yeah, maybe. I'd say that's what's happened. I'd say someone in the op shop has tried to pull that up, because that to me looks fairly recent, that damage. But anyway, still got a reasonable value. Good topic. So that's the type of thing that, yeah, I look for, and I never quibble from getting a book that's an ex-library book. 6 books. Last one is Colours. Oh, yeah, Colours of Castlereagh. There might be the Colours one that I couldn't find. There's one of them I couldn't find. Oh, yeah. Think about that. Yeah. But yeah, I looked and I've had them for over 12 months before I listed any of them singly on eBay, because I was waiting to get that last one. Couldn't find it. I don't know, I might have mentioned this on here. I can't remember if it was on here or where I might have mentioned it. But anyway, so I listed this book a few weeks ago. It's Jenna Jameson, and it's Make Love Like a Porn Star. And eBay pulled it down and said that I'd violated the, naughty stuff policy. And I couldn't work out why, because everyone else is still listed. I thought, well, what the heck? Anyway, so I've relisted it. I think what might have happened is it's got some rather saucy pickies inside. And I mean, there are some that are topless and that inside. And I'm thinking that maybe when I flicked through and took pictures of the pages, maybe I have inadvertently caught one of those naughty ones. So this time I made sure, I chose pictures like this that weren't going to have naughty pickies in it, because this book actually hasn't got bad value either. I think it's in the $30 or so. Yeah, $830 for the Castlereagh books, if you can get them in the set. So yeah, definitely ones to keep an eye out for. And because they're not a book that you would look at and say, wow, they look really nice, I'll get them and have a look at them. You're not going to. I went to the beach and saw some sea boomers. Yeah, okay. Oh dear. I hate getting books from Savers. Their stickers are a bugger to get off. Yeah, apparently. I mean, I've never been to Savers, so I can't comment. But yeah, apparently their stickers are not great to get off. I've heard that before. Talking about the library marks, just wondering if people also like older price tags, Kmart, Target, etc. Hearing that has blown my mind. Yeah, look, if it's a vintage book and it's got the vintage price sticker on it, leave it on there. But if it's a later sticker, yeah, don't. Simple as that. But yeah, if it's the original sticker, yeah, leave it on there by all means. Jen says, yeah, I've got this listed for $29.95, so basically $30 plus post. So there you go. Not to be sneezed at, I say. Do you quote the ISBN number in your listing? No. Generally not. I do not. There's a bit of an issue because if you put the put it in and it brings up the information, which is great, but if you try to accept that, it takes out your item specifics that you've already put in and puts in what's in there, and then it also deletes it out of the box. So yeah, no, I don't. I should. I mean, I do on some of them, but look, that being said, more of my books don't have an ISBN number than do, if that makes sense. Sandra says, Orange Cleaner gets saver stickers off. About the only thing that works. Well, that says something about how hard they are to get off, doesn't it? And so the next one I'm going to show you is this little number here. Oh, I might have shown you this last time, didn't I? Herbal treatment for common ailments. Stuff like this is really good. So this one is, in the UK, we use Gugon. Yeah, I believe that is very similar to our Orange Cleaner, Alan. I do. So this was first published in 83, reprinted in 86, and reprinted again in 1990. So this is the 1990 version. And it's just all about herbal treatments and common ailments. And yeah, again, decent dollars, worth listing on its own. So yeah, I thought that one was quite good. It got lots of nice illustrations in it as well. So, yep, that sort of thing, herbal stuff. Yeah, that's right, Paul. So Paul says he scans it twice. First time to fill out the info and the second time to fill the box in. And then he has to click cancel. Because yeah, it's not as straightforward as it seems. Hair dryers are good to get stickers off with, and also is a square or a flat scraper. And one of the things you can use instead of a scraper if you don't have one, I probably need to file it again, but I actually have my thumbnails square so that I can actually push the stickers with my thumbnails. But yeah, I mean, look, this is more like what I sell generally, so there's not going to be a lot of ISBNing around. So this book is called Recollections of Three Reigns by Sir Frederick Ponsonby. I don't know. This is it here. Recollections of Three Reigns by Sir Frederick Ponsonby. It's a bit hard to say, isn't it, really? And there's a foreword by a bloke called Colin Welch. I hope, does that come through the right way around when I do that? I hope so. So this guy was actually a fair income lord, and he was, I did find it. So this is the third impression of this book. It's not a first edition. It is written in 1951. Oh, well, it was first published in 51, and this was published in 51. So he was, let me find where it tells me what it is. I did find out what he did. Okay, so he'd been the keeper of His Majesty's Privy Purse for 21 years. I've no idea what that is, but it sounds pretty important, doesn't it? His Privy Purse. We would almost say that was his loo purse. The privy, isn't it? Something like that. So it's actually his memoir of the time, and he actually held that position with 3 different monarchs. So yeah, quite unique sort of a memoir too. So another book that was certainly worth listing. And yeah, it's in pretty good condition. Hasn't got the dust jacket, of course, but it is in still pretty good nick. Yeah, look, it's nice to get the dust jackets on them, but with older rare books, if they're really scarce, having the dust jacket's not going to stop it selling. Jen says I have it listed for $49.95 with $11.50 post. And if anyone's wondering about my postage model, that's my small size postage. So I have recently started adding on. I used to suck up the cost of the actual pattern mailers. But I found I'm actually losing money because if I send a parcel from my place to another rural area, I only get 52 cents discount. So my mailers cost me nearly double that, my padded mailers. So I decided then, I'm not going to say it's a handling cost because it's not. It's actually an extra 90 cents than the base rate of the small parcel, and that's just to cover the padded mailer. So, things are the way they are. And with people making the offers, and it's very. One of my sales today was for full price, no discounts. Whoa. And because that's so rare, you really need to, we really need to make sure what we're listing and that we can get the most money out of it to do well. So, yeah, I have increased. The other thing is too, at that price, I send nearly all my jeans in the small, and as a lot of people, well, I say most, but a lot of people price their jeans postage at $14.50, which is a medium size. But because I send my jeans in the padded mailer as opposed to the satchel, the vinyl satchel, at $11.50, it's a lot cheaper for people that are buying jeans generally. Okay, people do different things. Thomas says isopropyl alcohol. Worst sticker is the cash converters. Yeah, cash converter stickers are shocking. Oh, yeah, they are shocking. The salvos down at my closest salvos, and they just use the normal little price stickers. Their price stickers are really bad too. Oh, here we go. Be handy having someone from the UK with us that can explain it. A privy purse carries the money to pay for purchases made by the monarch. Oh, so he basically would follow him around if he went shopping and to pay for stuff. Interesting. That'd be a good job to have, wouldn't it? Get to pay for everything without spending your own money. But anyway, nice little book. Next one is, this one's nice. This one's in really good condition, and it does have the dust jacket, which is always nice. And the dust jacket's in pretty good nick. Got a couple of chips just down the bottom here, and the main biggest one's there, but like that's pretty good. Beautiful artwork on the front, which I'm going to say is probably a Tom Roberts painting, perhaps. Sure, it'll tell us inside the book if we have a look. Tales of Old Australia by Bill Beattie. Thank you for that, Ellen, because that explains it without me having to work it all out. Again, this is about the first settlers. Ah, yes, the monarch never carries money, he says. Yes, okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, well, where are they going to put it in there? Yeah, nice outfits, true. True. Yes, it would be a bit unseemly for them to be, like, handing money over too, wouldn't it? Thomas says, one of the local op shops uses a texter to write prices on items. I told them that I would buy them a price gun, LOL. Yeah, I would too. I did ask one of the op shops around here was actually, if there was a name inside, they were actually cutting that part out with a pair of scissors. And I said to them, I had a couple of books there, and I said, I would have bought these and I would have given you good money for them. But I said, I can't buy them because you've cut this out of the front. It's really devalued them. They said, oh, but it had a name in there. And I said, yeah, collectors don't mind the names. You've devalued it by cutting the bit out. So, yeah, they just don't know. And they think that they're taking something personal out of it. But if there's a name in there, who cares? John says, Undo is a cleaner from the big green shed. Normally use it for those pesky small stickers. Oh, good to know. Okay. No idea what the big green shed is. Is that a brand, I presume? Yep. Jen says, I have this listed for $39.95 with the post, plus post. So, yep, that's a good one. $40 plus post. Yeah, so this is different characters from the nation's earliest years, all different stories. It basically says Australia's history is one of the shortest in the world, yet within the relatively brief years of her existence, she has carved out a past that is colourful and fascinating as those of countries and with histories centuries old. Ever since the first settlers arrived in story time with Grumpy Granny. Ever since the first settlers arrived in Sydney Cove in 1788, 1,000 felons, their jailers, and the first governor, Arthur Phillip, the growth of Australia towards world recognition has been remarkably rapid. I'll stop reading like that. Oh, Bunnings, okay. The big green shed, silly me. Yeah, so this is really nice book. Now, one of the things with this, and why, again, we go to why international shipping is so good. There are lots of stories in here which actually involve Aborigines and our Aboriginal history. And, some people say we should bury it because, it's bad the way they were treated and all the rest of it. And yes, I quite agree it was. But why would we bury it? Because to me, it's just as important. We need that history and we need our later generations to understand that history so that it never happens again. That being said, there is a lot of interest from America in particular with regard to anything that's to do with Indigenous stories. And so books like this, because they do have a lot of stories in here to do with that, are good to have on your international shipping. Look, there's some really good stories in this book, and even down to tombstone. There's a section on tombstone inscriptions and things that were put on tombstones. Happy husbands have shown gratitude in many ways and varied ways. But surely there has never been anything more astonishing than the case of the man in Queensland who, to show his devotion to his wife, finally drank her. She was a white woman, the adored wife of a Hindu. The couple dwelt near Gympie. When the wife died, the sorrowing widower, after complying with all the legal formalities, had her body cremated, mixed the ashes in rum, and drank the mixture. Okay, that actually wasn't a tombstone inscription, and I'm sorry if anyone's got PTSD from that story, but yeah, interesting, isn't it? Many Sydney people who lived near the Waverley Cemetery in pre-war years were familiar with the lady who each day, about dusk, paid her respects to her late husband. Carrying a hurricane lamp in one hand and a ukulele in the other, she would unlock the vault in which her late spouse lay, and by the light of the lamp, serenade him on her ukulele. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? Yeah. So that's a little taste of the type of stories in there. Really good book, I reckon. And even good one if you're looking for something to read. Rum. Yeah, it is nearly rum time, isn't it? I'll tell you what, it's nearly time to go and have a. I wondered why some books have part of the page cut. Yes, because they cut out the names, thinking that they're not doing it to wreck the book. They think they'll make the book more saleable because it's got that personal information cut out of it. But what they don't realise is it actually damages the value of the book. So, yeah. Unfortunately, but that's the way it is. Okay, so I'm going to mute this right now. And I muted it before I finished. Please feel free to talk amongst yourselves, boys and girls. Grumpy Granny is just going to go and powder her nose. I'll be back. I'm back. I had the pleasure of Simba while I was gone for a few minutes. Yes, she did steal my chair. She is a naughty girl. Is my cat. That is Simba, my kitten. Well, she's not a kitten anymore. She's a cat. And she's a pain in my butt because she's got to get in my chair the minute she sees me get out of it. And no, the cat did not move the camera. I did that. So, yeah, hilarious. Yes, I'm back. Shh. Don't talk. Yes. So that's a drink down. So it's time to open another one. So we'll lit a can. I don't know whether any of you guys have got these amazing little steel coolers, but they are wonderful. And this is the one my family gave me. This is a Yeti one that they had specially printed for me for my birthday, which is pretty cool. But these keep your drinks cold, for so long, so I can have my couple of cans here. I have three of these, and I can keep my drinks cold and have them all lined up here while I'm doing the live stream, and have enough drinks here to last. So we do the swirl. I've poured my bit of Captain Morgan in, and we'll give that a bit of a swirl and have a bit of a drink, and it's very nice. Thank you. All right. So do we want to hear about some more books, or do we want to talk about something else? Anybody got any questions? Yes, merch. Yes, definitely shouldn't I? Yep. I am actually getting some. They're not the steel ones, but I am getting some stubby holders made. My daughter does them, and she's going to make me some Grumpy Granny. We just got to come up with the artwork for Grumpy Granny, and she's going to do some key rings and some stubby holders for me, which I thought might be a bit of fun. And Jen, you're doing such a good job with the books, looking up the books for me. So you can look up this one. This is called Our Man Artie, and it's by Lawrence Eager. Right. Now, when you first look at this, you might think it's a gardening book. It says, In Praise of a Practical Gardener. And I actually did. I thought when I first looked at it that it was actually a gardening book. The rare thing about this book is it's actually a novel that was specifically targeted towards people that are gardeners. So it's about a novel set in a garden. So Artie is the gardener, and he looks after 5 very different gardens within a section. And my Instagram avatar for the artwork, yes, yeah, we've just got to get it into some sort of a cartoon format so that we can put it on the merch. So it's actually a novel. The guy who wrote it is a horticultural specialist, and it's got really nice fold-out leaves in it with a drawing of the gardens that the mythical, made-up gardens that Artie looks after. And there's all these different households that he looks after. And so it's all about, and it says here, the story of the close, it's 5 gardens, and Artie, the jobbing gardener, is more than a garden tale. The 5 gardens would typify the history of garden design in Victoria and in Australia in general. It's likely you'll find your own garden in it. So, yeah, it's all about the gardening and the work he does and the people that have the gardens. And this is listed for $89.95 plus post. So, yeah, if you come across this one, grab it and list it. Oh, thank you, Jane. Thank you for coming. Jane's off. Thank you very much for joining. We won't be certainly staying up as late as we normally do, which was part of the reason of starting a bit earlier so that we could all get to bed a bit earlier. than like 2 o'clock in the morning. But yeah. But yeah, that's a good little book, that one. And if you can see, there's a bit of a theme here, like books that have got an interesting topic, an unusual topic, rather than your run of the mill, you know, detective novel or whatever. But something that's a bit unique gives them that value, because being a bit niche, sometimes they didn't print as many, you know, and yeah, so that's a pretty cool one to keep an eye out for. Put that in there. And then, do you want to check this one for me, Jen, please? So this is called The Last House in London, and it's by an author called Crona Temple, Crona Temple, which I'll just show you with this page here so you can see it. Beautiful colour plate in the front. With it, it's got an amazing, which is the same image that is on the dust jacket, but really nice condition. The dust jacket is in great condition. And, yeah, it's really, really good. And then if we open it up, so it's actually got quite a big sleeve on the inside. But if we actually lift that up, underneath, and I love these, we have an award sticker. So it is from the Linton Methodist Sunday School to George Thompson by the teachers of the above school, 1922. So that's really nice, isn't it? So I'll just pop this back in properly, show you the book. The book is really nice. The book itself's gorgeous. It's really embossed and is in excellent condition. It's not gilt, which is a shame. It's only got black ink, but it's still really nice. And yeah, I've got this one listed for $49.95 plus post. But yeah, and I this was possibly one of the ones I think it was very hard to find comps on this one. So sometimes I just take a little bit of a guess. So this is actually published by the Religious Tract Society. So once again, it's going to be a bit specialist because it's not by one of your big publishers. And yeah, so it's actually a kid's book. I don't think there were any illustrations. Oh yeah, there are the odd, not very many, but there are the odd little illustration through the book. And you can see there. But yeah, the colour plate in the front is really nice to have. Yeah, so nice little book. Look, I mean, I think, like, sometimes if I come across a book like this and I'm the only one that's got it, I could list it a lot higher, but is it going to sell? Like, and it has been listed for a little while, so, you know, I may eventually have to reduce the price on it if it's not selling at that price. But, yeah, it's in great nick, you know, so $50 plus post is a good place to start. Yeah, so you just have to, yeah, take a bit of a guess sometimes with some of these older books if you can't find comps on it. And Crona Temple doesn't seem to have, I don't know whether it tells us in here whether she wrote any other books, but she did write author of John Denton's Friends and Nobody Cares, etc. But yeah, there weren't very many. She didn't write very much, and obviously they were very. I'm going to say it'll be a moral story because it's published by a religious society. So yeah, quite nice. I thought that one. Yeah. Now, talking of religious books, well, it's not actually a religious book. So this one is the LDS game book. If you find anything to do with the LDS church, they tend to sell quite well. So this is the LDS Book of Games. Right, and it's by Alma and Mari Heaton, Heaton. It was published by Bookcraft of Salt Lake City, Utah. Surprise, being LDS. And as Thomas says, he's quite right. Listing items a little higher can give you a little bit more wiggle room when it comes to offers. So it does give you that chance to do that. 1968, this one is. And what it is the index in this goes for pages and pages. It's all different games. So it made me laugh a little bit, given that we know that a lot of in the early days, the LDS church had, someone had multiple wives, so lots of children. But there are games for a family home evening. So there are pre-opener games for family home evenings, mystery games for family home evenings, learning games for family home evenings, even quiet games for family game evenings. Then there are traveling games, paper and pencil games, active games, quiet games, party games, pre-opener for neighbourhood parties, blindfold games for teens and adults, blindfold games for children, indoor party games for teens and adults. So I did have a bit of a laugh when I got to this section because this is indoor party games for teens and adults. The first game is called Uncle Josh Died. Like, seriously, you've got a game called Uncle Josh Died? Other games are Itchy Kitchy Coo. This is a fork. Is this a spoon? The Broom Dance. Spirit Photography. So, yeah, really quite interesting game titles there. Back Road Bitter. Hi, Chuck. Good to have you in again. Great to see you. We're just talking about some unusual books or some of my, higher priced, interesting books. And then there's riddles, puzzles, and jokes, outdoor games. And then we've got special occasions. So there's games for family reunions, father and son outing games, youth conference and convention activities, seminary and church activities, teaching the play way, which is like arithmetic and stuff like that, other games. So, yeah, some quite interesting games and has been well used because we even have someone's already gone through and done the word search and stuff. And, yeah, it goes right through the games. There's some little illustrations. Nothing big on the illustration story, but yeah, quite an interesting little book. Bit of fun. Yeah. Bit of the trouble of finding these sort of books is that you want to look through them and see what's in there. But yeah, so that was a good one. And I've got that listed for $39.95 plus post. This is one I've only just listed this week. This is Richard's Topical Encyclopedia. I think this one I've got listed. I've got the title starts with birds, I think, Jen, if you're looking for it. So it's Birds, Richard's Topical Encyclopedia. And this is a really nice book, leather bound. And it is this is volume 4 of that encyclopedia. And it is from 1956. So lots of contents in it. And this book, even though it says it's birds, but it does contain birds and mammals. And there are lots of really nice illustrations and pictures all the way through. And this is a non-fiction. Yes, you're right there. I found a bit called The Sexual Behaviour of the American Housewife. Haven't looked it up yet, and it's non-fiction. Really, is it very old? That's the thing. I'd be interested to know. Is it very old? Because if it's, an older book, yeah, especially that'd be funny. But yeah, there's some really good information in here and quite interesting. And everything's divided into reading units. So the idea is you can do a unit at a time and learn about the bird and how the woodcock lives, snipes, sandpipers, and Killdeer. I've got this listed for $34.95 plus post. So yeah, pretty good for. I think this cost me $1 from the op shop, from my local op shop. Bird is the word. Yeah, bird books are. Oh, it's from the 1960s, says Chuck. His sexual behavior of the American housewife. That would be really good. I think you might find that one should do quite well. Yeah, bird books are very popular, which was part of the reason. So when I listed this, rather than listing it, putting the title as Richard's Topical Encyclopedia Volume 4, I actually started my title with the word birds, and then filled it out from there, because birds is what's going to attract someone to that one. So yeah, that was a pretty nifty one. And then, the last one I've got to show you is this big one here, which is a really nice book and a very niche book, and probably won't have worldwide appeal. It'll have more local appeal, but it's a really nice book. So it's from Sand, Swamp and Heath, and it's a history of Caulfield, which is one of the inner suburbs of Melbourne, which is the capital city in Victoria. And yeah, it's just a really nice book, and it's the history of Caulfield. It's 1980, first edition, with a really nice dust jacket. And when we take the dust jacket off, beautiful gilt emblem on the front, and nice gilt on there. So I don't know what you guys do, but when I have a book with these sort of books, when it comes to features, and you can tick the box that says dust jacket with a book like this, I actually include in there, I add my own features, and I say that it's cloth boards, or say if it's leather bound, and I also say that it's got gilt lettering on it, because I just think that's, nice too. And this has some, if I can find, I'm going to say, this is lots of illustrations, but a lot of them are quite small on the side, like so. But it does still have some bigger and lots of little drawings and things, little newspaper clipping type things. So yeah, nice little book. This one was surprising because it didn't have as good a value as I thought. But again, as I said, this is only going to be for a niche market, because it's such a, no one overseas probably is going to recognise the word Caulfield and know what it is. But it's, $29.95 plus, and it's so heavy and big. It's got to go in a large padded mailer, which is 18.25 post. So Sandra Gedge is in the car park at work, and she's still listening. Good on you, Sandra. You're a treasure. Jen, you're doing a wonderful job. You have been fantastic to do that for me. But I knew as soon as that fan on my laptop started heating up, and this is why I'd like to try and organise something, if I could have it on my desktop. At some stage, we will do that, and then we'll move into the big room, and you'll be able to see what's going on in there. Because it'll make it a bit easier, because I can then probably, do the whole sharing the screens and stuff and show you on the screen. I just know that I can't do it on this, have it doing too much. And obviously, because it's live streaming, it's taking too much extra effort for me to then go into another page and start looking something up. And it didn't like it at all. I really appreciate it, Jen. You helped out a lot. Really good. So yeah, just a nice little book. And I mean, look, $30 plus post is nothing to be sneezed at, and reasonable discount I'll get from Australia Post. But yeah, you find a nice book like that, and you think it might be going to be worth a little bit more. But yeah. So my book store strategy has changed a little bit in recent times, in that I try to make my minimum books that I'm listing going forward at worth $29.95 plus post. The cheapest books I will list at the moment are $21.95, and they'll be for some of the smaller paperbacks if they haven't got a huge value but are worth listing. So, for example, the Lions Teen Track Fiction books, they sell for me, and they sell regularly, and, you know, so they add good sales, but they're, you know, they're not worth money. But I had them listed for around the $15 mark plus $5.30 post because I was sending them in the C5 envelope, but I'm no longer doing C5 envelopes. I've narrowed down what I'm using for my postage for packaging, so I'm only using small, medium, large mailers. So everything I sell has pretty much got to fit into one of those, unless I decide to do one-offs, which is where I would get, you know, I might be, perhaps do an extra large box where I've got multiple items in it. So everything's got to fit in those because it means that's less variety of postage supplies I have to buy. It means that, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow today? I hope you're doing well, my friend. And yes, we are going to do, so Mary is from Minnesota, I think, isn't it? Don't growl at me if I got it wrong. Because I'm shocking with geography. But so Mary is from America, and she has been a wonderful support for both Octo and myself with our channels and everything. And we had her as one of our hostages on the podcast, and she's great fun. So Mary and I are going to do yes, Minnesota. See, I've got it right. We are going to do, after I've had my back surgery and I'm all recovered, we're going to do Granny's Gone Wild. So we're going to do a live stream together, Granny's Gone Wild. And I don't know about you, Mary, but I'm kind of thinking we might leave the door open so that other people can jump in the stream with us. Not too many at a time, maybe just one at a time. But, yeah, let people come in and say good day to us while we're in there. And we might have a bit of fun with that, do you reckon? Because I reckon, yeah, there might be more laughing going on than there is useful information or something. But, yeah, should be fun. So, yeah, so as I say, my book model is now, yeah, pretty much, I'm going to say $29.95, so $30 plus post, except for those smaller paperbacks. And, yes, Mary is agreeing that we will do Granny's Gone Wild, absolutely. So something to look forward to. Yeah, so the Lions Teen Tracks and some other smaller books, I don't send them as a letter anymore. I send them as a parcel because a lot of the times they are vintage and I want to put them in a protective cardboard sleeve, and I can't do that if I send them as a letter anyway. So I decided on, yeah, and do you know what? Doing it that way has not hurt the sales of those books, because people collect them and want to build their collections and they're after a specific book. So I'm actually selling them for a lot more than I originally was, but they're still selling. So, yeah, that's how that goes. Now, I will actually just bear with me. And I'm just going to turn this around. You can see all my mess here, but, oh, hang on. Whoops, the power cord's fallen out. Hang on. Go around this way so I can do it properly. Turn you right around here. Oh, you can't really see it, can you? Because the light's going the wrong way. Oh, I didn't realise that muted it when I took out the mic, but I'll plug that back in a minute. But, yeah, there's a few autographed ones in that little collection, and a few first editions. the first edition set of those is going for about $900. I don't know that I'll have a complete set of first editions, but you never know until you look. And I think I have been... Get off my chair. See, look, the minute I get up, look, there she is again. Get out of the way. I think, yeah, it's time, because that's taking up a lot of room on my bookshelf. That you had to check your headphones. Yeah, that was my fault. Sorry. Yeah, I think I've decided it's time to sort through those and do some bundling. So Mary says she is shipping, getting ready to head to do her postage. Oh, good girl, doing some work. Well, yeah, Granny's not doing too much work. She's just talking. Talking. Ah, has anyone had surgery recently? Honest to God. Oh, let me tell you. So they do everything by telephone appointment now. And yes, there is a kitty puss. Yes, she's a naughty kitty cat. Yeah. So you have to do your pre-op appointments. Like, look, it's good because I don't have to travel to Melbourne to do all the pre-op appointments. But I had the message I had was I was booked in for my pre-op appointments on Wednesday. It must have been Wednesday at 12:30. The first call I got was at 11:30, and I thought, oh, well, they've done it now. This guy rang me up and was, one of the doctors and talking to me and went through all the things, how I could die and I could have this happen and that happen. They've got to do that. And I thought that was it. Well, blow me down. Then by about 1:00, someone else rings me, and it's some nurse wanting to know. And I've already told the doctor everything. I've given him a list of all my medications and all the rest of it. Off we went. Had to tell her the same, this nurse, the same one all over again. Then I thought, oh, good, that's it. And about an hour later, the phone rings again, and it's the anaesthetist this time. And so I've got to go through the whole thing again with him, give him a list of my medications, talk to him about all my problems and how fit I am and how not fit I am, how far can I walk. And I'm hopeless at guessing distances. So I had to tell him, like, I can walk about 5 houses before I need something to hang on to, Yeah, so that was a bit of fun and games. So I nearly spent the whole day on the phone telling all those people the same thing. And I think all up, so there was the guy to start with, then the nurse, then the anaesthetist, and there was one more. And I think she must have been from the pharmacy because she pretty much only wanted the medications. So all up, there was 4 phone calls. And the first one, as I said, was about an hour early. So that was about 11:30. And the last one was at 3:00. So that whole part of my day was taken up. Yeah, I can probably take my Band-Aid off now. It's nothing disastrous, except it was bleeding when I was trying to go to the post office or trying to do my shipping, and I didn't want to get blood on the books. Oh, these Band-Aids are hard. Yeah, nothing disastrous, just the I was cutting some cardboard for my protective sleeves that I put around the books, and yeah, the Stanley knife blade might have slipped slightly and cut my finger. Work hazard, that is. Yep, work cover. Go and work cover for that one. So, yeah, it's just one of the hazards of when you're trying to cut cardboard and stuff. And I probably need to change the blade is the problem because they get a bit dodgy when they're not really sharp when you're cutting cardboard. But, yeah, if anyone doesn't realise that, so when I send old books in particular or any books that are worth value, I don't actually wrap mine in bubble wrap. Because some of those books are so delicate and worth so much money that I want to make sure they get there, particularly if they're going overseas. So I actually make a cardboard mailer. So, for example, if I had, say, this book, so I would make each end about that much longer. So I yeah, I cut a slice. So I have a big strip of cardboard that is long enough to wrap around the book securely, and about that much longer each end, because that'll protect the corners. And yeah, I wrap it around. I cut, if necessary, I cut slits in the cardboard to help it fold, so it makes a nice sleeve. And then I just wrap one lot of sticky tape around it, and then that's what I put in the padded envelope, depending on where it's going. Oh, look, that's got nice. I didn't realise that, but that's got nice speckleting on the page edges. See, to me, that's a nice feature of the book. A bit like when there's gilt edging. And sometimes, oh, that's another thing. When you're photographing your books, and be careful which edge with antique books that you photograph first. So, I'll find one. I know one of these books had it. Yeah, this one. So see how that's got the red edging, which they often did on one edge. When you get them, some of the antique books or vintage books will have yellow instead of red, because they wanted to make it look as close to gilt, but it's not gilt. It's just a dye. But don't photograph that one when you're doing the edges, photographing the edges for people. Photograph the other edges first, because people will get as far as that photo, and if it's yellow, they'll think that the book's discoloured that much. Whereas if you photograph these ones first and then show the yellow one, they'll actually realise it's colour, not actually discoloration or foxing, or, you know, that the pages have gone bad. Because when they get that browning, or the foxing as we call it in book circles, you didn't know that, they can get a bit brittle. So yeah, so what questions have you got, boys and girls? Question time, and then we will call it quits, so that we can get some sleep and get up in the morning and all get to work again. So you have question time. What questions do you have? This obviously has a built-in delay. I'm just not sure how long that is between when I ask and, yeah, I don't know how long that goes for. So please ask me some questions. Or have you asked me all the questions and don't have any because I've already told you everything? I doubt it. I would say my best-selling paperback books bundle that I do regularly are the Aragon books by Christopher Paolini. I've sold several of those. What is my favourite thing to source for a profit? Guess what it is, Mary? Books. Yay. So books definitely is my first favourite thing. My second favourite thing is denim jeans. And I did speak about this last week. Denim jeans are good because there's a lot of leeway in them. Because if there's marks or whatever on them, you can distress them. You can cut them off to make them into cut-off shorts. So if there's something wrong with them, you've still got the chance of actually making some good money out of them. So that's why I like to do that. Denim's very forgiving. Wow Games, is there a way to know how to price your items correctly? Look, that's an interesting one, because I don't necessarily price my items going by the market. You have to take into account the condition, especially when it comes to, especially when it comes to books, because someone might have their books listed, say with regard to a paperback, they've got them listed all for, 12, 15, 14, whatever, but yours is in pristine condition. Like, your book's worth more just because of the condition. So don't feel that you have to lower yourself to list it at that cheaper price. I will generally go, and if it's something that's not vintage like books, say for jeans, for example, I don't use the solds first. I go to Terapeak, and I will look it up in Terapeak, because Terapeak will actually give you an average price, and you can get the average price from the last 90 days, the last 6 months, the last year, or the last 2 years, depending, and you can get an average price. And so I take that average price, and then I will go in and I'll have a look at what's recently sold, and see if they're still selling at around that average price. And yeah, if I think my item is better than the ones that are currently listed, I will list it higher. I've stopped trying to list it under the market. I will list it, be competitive, but if mine's in better condition, then I will list it higher. How big is the storage area in my house? So this room that I have here is, I call it my photography room. So as you can see, that was my photography station over there. I have a chest of drawers, which is going to be going soon, because I had all the breakable things in there, and now that they're all gone, and things like leather belts and stuff that I'm not selling anymore. So that will be gone, which will allow me access to the hanging space behind it, which is where I hang all my coats and things. And then this is all my jeans storage here. Then in essence, I have the room, which is right next door, which is probably double the size of this room, I'm going to say. I think it's something like 12 by 12 meters, maybe. Is that right? Would that be right? 12 by 12? Oh, it is the main storage area. So all my listed stuff is in there. So my clothing. Yeah, good. Thanks, Mary. You go get your packages out. And thank you very much, Lee. I'm sure, no doubt, we will catch up before then. And watch out for Granny's Gone Wild afterwards, eh? So where was I going with it? I have the storage. So in there I have a big double-sided hanging rack, which has my clothing that hangs on it. And I do that mainly. I don't have stuff in tubs because I wouldn't be able to lift it with my back. And therefore, yeah, I can't have single tubs lying around everywhere. So I have the big hanging rack in there. And then the walls, there are all shelves around the edges, which has all my listed books on it and VHS. I now have one blank shelf in there that used to have the DVDs on it, which I no longer have. And then the other area I have on the room, so there's a room, the room directly behind me is identical to this one. That is my packing room, so that I have all my shipping supplies in there, and there's a big bench in there because it was once upon a time my sewing room. And so that's a really good place. I have a big sorting table in there and shipping supplies, and Sandra's at her desk now, so that's good. You're back again, Sandra. Then the spare bedroom, which is at the back of the room, that's my eBay room, that has a queen-size bed in it for visitors, and that bed is surrounded by bookcases and crates of books. So, yeah, I pretty much take it. Look, I live on my own. I have my kids come and visit me every now and again. Some of them prefer to stay here. Some of them prefer to stay at their dad's, who lives in the same town. So, yeah, I only need one queen-size bed for visitors when they come, and they just have to put up with the books that are in there. And so, yeah, I'm on my own, so I can take up as much room in my house as I like, really. So it's a house worth. John says, I have given by buyer a price for 212 mils and Boone. Really? Fantastic. Woohoo! Wow. That is good. So you've given them a price of what you want for the 212. Is that how it's working? Or they've given you a price of what they want to pay for it? That's great. Oh, that'll be good. If you can do that in a whole big bulk lot, that's really good. If there are no listings and comps on a book and only listings in the USA and UK, do you convert the dollars? Yes, I do. So generally when that's the case, I'll go to a website called ABooks, ABE Books. And that is a fantastic site because it has a built-in currency converter. because all the prices there. Go to the go to the US version of the website. I generally find easier, and you can, when you look up a book, you can then click on the currency converter, and it will convert it to Australian dollars for you. And so, generally when I do that, so if the book's listed for, I don't know, whatever it is in US, if I click on that, the currency converter, and it says that in Australian dollars, that would be $145, right? I will generally say, that sounds a bit much. And I might list it for $120.99, depending on the book. You know, a lot of books I will list for $99.95 that are the rarer, more sought after books, because I'd rather get a quicker sale for that little bit less, and 99 sounds a lot cheaper than 120. So I do tend to do that a bit. But yeah, no, I definitely convert, because the value of the Australian dollar against the US dollar and even the UK pound, it's a lot less. You know, we want to get some money out of them. Hey, Sandra, who are you working with tonight, my love? Let us know who you're working with tonight. Flipper J says nice size. Yep, great size it is. Yep. And so I'm looking at doing a little bit of adjusting later on when I'm well and truly recovered from my surgery, because I won't stock any more clothing than I can hang on that rack. Pretty much. I mean, I won't list any more clothing than I can hang on that rack. So I'm trying to keep that at a certain level. So I may finish up putting that rack in the front room, reorganizing it and put it in the other bedroom. And then I'll be able to fit a few more, probably 4 more bookshelves in here, because I'll be able to put them down the center of the room. Anyway, just something I'm toying with. Yes, Dave, Books is owned by Amazon, correct. But you can sort of get a bit of a gauge on the prices. It's one of the best websites to get some prices on. The other thing you can do, which the chap on Back to Burnout on Mel's video that she put out the other day, is just Google it. I'll quite often get books that don't even show up on Books, so I just have to Google it. Can't find it, list it for $99.95 is my theory, if I can't find it from anywhere. Shocking, isn't it? But that's what I do. Depending on the book, if there's something that I think is really special, I'll list it for more than that. I might list it for $150. But yeah, it just depends. Cajun Roots reseller, how are you? Great to see you from the US. Haven't had any Aussies invading your live streams of late. I haven't been able to this week because I've been very, very busy. Because here in Australia, we at the moment, if you're a used clothing seller and you took up the eBay's offer, you can list your clothing. We get to list it for free. We don't have any listing fees. But the deal is we get a 50% reduction in our end cost fees from eBay for whatever we list before the 22nd of September. So we've only got a couple of weeks left of that. And of course, I'm going to miss a week of that because I'll be in hospital having back surgery, which happens on the 18th. So I'm madly trying to get as much of my clothing listed at the moment, so that, I can make the most of the discount on the end fees, even though I'm going to miss a week. So, that's what the go is. Rob says, don't be afraid to list high. Yeah, true. Too true. Especially if it's something, that's not about anywhere else. Look, if you go onto Books and there's nothing, if you go on to Amazon and there's nothing, if you Google it and there's nothing, it's a rare book. It's scarce. It's whatever you like to call it. That, we all talk about the words we should and shouldn't be using, but it's going to be whether it's sought after is another thing, but you never know, depending on the topic. Again, a book like that, so a kid's book, like the one I showed you before from Corona Temple, and not a lot of illustrations, not color illustrations all the way through it, like my bear book, my big bear book, is not going to have the value that, say, a book on birds is going to have. So I would list the bird book a lot higher than I would list the children's novel, if that makes sense. And also, given that that's a more niche subject, being religious, not that the book may not necessarily be religious, but it's going to be very moral. So that kind of reduces the scope of that book. So yeah. So yes, Sandra's working with Muhammad tonight, and she likes Muhammad. He's very good and very good to work with. And he tries as hard as he can to not have too much work for Sandra to do, so she can do her listings on eBay, which is really nice of him. And she's a bit busy, so she can't answer me, but she did tell me it was Muhammad. So yeah, which is cool. Very, very cool. Well, boys and girls, what do you think? Any more questions? Or are we wrapping up for tonight? I should have a look. Yeah, I need to have my thing. What are we? 11:48. Oh, let's go till midnight, and then we might say bye-bye. Because that way I can, because it takes me a good hour to wind down after one of these sessions. And Jane Litterick, here she is. Oh, she just woke up. It's morning, and we're just talking about going to bed, Jane. It's nearly midnight here. So we are going to finish up a little bit earlier than normal because I started earlier tonight so that I could go and get a good night's sleep and get up and edit early tomorrow. How are things for you? Yes, it's only 8 a.m. here. Yeah, well, it is exactly 11:49 p.m. So we're at the end of a long day, and we have done lots of talking about vintage books tonight. I have talked to everyone's ears off about vintage books. So, yes, and I'm asking if anyone has any questions for me before we tie up for the night. So, any last questions? And Flipper J says, all the best with your surgery, Granny. Come back. Oh, I will. I'll be back. I can tell you. It'll be good. It will be good. Look at that. I've learnt to live with my back, and it's literally a pain in my butt at times. But oh, hi, Muhammad. Muhammad says, hi, Granny. See? Sandra's co-workers are getting to know me quite well too, from me doing my live stream. And yeah. So Sandra says the only Aragon series she's found a trust. Yeah. Look, it's a bit hard because they are such heavy books that they do tend to get a bit wrecked. But if you can get half decent ones off, that would be the most amount of paperback for a bundle. I've sold more of that series than I have of anything else. And I don't list them at the same time. I list one. Whenever I see them at a decent price, I get them. And I list one set, and when that sells, then I list another set. And so I've not long sold a set, so now I need to list another set. And yes, I was missing the first two books, but my son managed to pick them up for me, which was good. And unfortunately, look, it was nice of me, though, because he did pick me up some books and things and got my map for me. So he was chasing some Terry Pratchett books, so I gave him the Terry Pratchett books. So they're not going up on eBay. Anyway, I gave them to him. So that's fine. That is all fine. Jane is just getting ready, sitting down at her PC, so she'll have to rewatch. Yes, you will. You will. And that would be good if you did. That would be good. Books. I don't like putting multiple copies of the same book up or multiple copies of the same book bundle up at the same time. Generally speaking, I'll only put up one. If I've got enough to do two, like I'm going to have with the John Marsden books. That being said, I possibly would list a paperback bundle and a hardback bundle at the same time. But I wouldn't, I generally don't. I wait till one sells and then I'll list the next lot That's great. You can just go sell similar and it's nearly the same. The boss woke up the wife and asked, how many listings have I done? Not many, I answered, even though she spent half a day photographing. Oh, Anthony. Oh, tisk, tisk. Well, yes, but tell her though, even though you haven't done many listings, you have learnt a lot. You have been educated by, Grumpy Granny has educated you. And yes, so you've learnt a lot. Yes, you've done a lot of learning tonight, even if you haven't done listings. There you go. Yeah, Sandra says she's always looking out for them. Yes. And yes, I am a good mum. I know. Well, try to be. And, especially when it comes to books, because, so many people don't read. And Ethan, my oldest, is a reader. He likes to read. And so, yeah, if he can pick me up stuff and I can give him some stuff I've got here. Because he also asked me for some David Gemmell books, and I knew I had some. I thought I had them, and I thought I would have put them on I've got one of the shelves in my death pile room is where I put all the fantasy books so that I can make bundles of them if they don't have enough value. And yeah, I couldn't find them, but then yeah, I had actually I'd obviously set them on top of some other books going to put them in that shelf, and yeah, forgot that that's where I put them. But yeah, anyway, I know where they are now. He may not get them this time though. Caven said, do you intend to go for 3 hours when you start a live, or do you just get carried away by it? Yep. Initially I was just going to I was going to do the whole John thing because that seemed to be what people wanted, which was, talk for 10 minutes and then have 30 minutes silence while everybody did their work. But, it's not my model. I can't do it because I know when I am working, I don't want silence. I want, yes, 3 hours does go by fast, Jane. Oh, I don't want silence. I want to hear some stuff in the background and maybe learn something by what the people are saying or whatever. And I just keep talking. Like it just, yeah. I mean, I do eventually run out of things to say, but yeah, no, it just happens. And I just figure if people look, there's still 24 people in here. So there's enough of you here that there's 25 now, having said that. Like if there was only, 5 or 6 of you, I'd tell you all to bugger off, I'm going to bed. But yeah, look, there's plenty of people that are wanting to watch, and I just think, hey, why not? If I can still keep talking, and yeah, I do. Joan says, I always had my nose in a book when I was younger. Yeah, me too. And you know what? I think the kids are so lucky because they've got all these wonderful fantasy and even the teenage horror type books, they've got to read. Like I was reading Stephen King when I was in grade 6 because I liked horror and I liked that sort of books, and they didn't make them for kids or teens. So yeah, so maybe that's why I'm a bit warped in the mind because yeah, I was a Stephen King fan. I still am. She said you're forgiven just because it was me and I'm watching and she loves Grumpy. Oh, well, you tell her thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And yes, and she would know that I wouldn't be leading you astray. I would be filling your head with useful information, maybe. Sandra says, I have a few of his books. Yes, I'm sure you do. How many, Sandra? You want to tell us? I have a couple of nice first editions that I've been debating what to do with. So one of them's got a really, it's had a bit of bashing around, and I haven't listed it yet because I'm debating what I'm going to do with it. And the second one is in pretty good condition, and it's got a nice dust jacket, but the bindings come away a bit, and so I'm possibly going to do a bit of a repair on that before I list it, because otherwise it will just, the condition will bring it down. And you can do some minor easy repairs. You know, maybe if anyone's interested in that, something I can show you guys one night. Yeah, so you can do some minor repairs. And sometimes, yeah, even with the dust jackets, you can do some minor repairs. You're not always going to be able to make it look like you haven't repaired it, particularly if there's a tear down the dust jacket. But my theory is, as long as you do it the right way and use the right paper to repair it, if there's a strip of paper glued to the inside back of that, on the inside of the dust jacket, that stops that tear from getting any worse and that dust jacket from getting destroyed, then that's a lot better than you just letting it go and then they get wrecked, to my mind. That's what I think. What do you think? Looks like that is going to be it for questions and answers. You've got 2 minutes. 2 minutes to ask me a question. What else can I tell you? In 2 minutes. Do I have a funny story for you in 2 minutes? I should have teed up a funny story, shouldn't I? Or maybe sing a song for you? No, I'm not going to sing a song for you. So anyone that wants to know about my singing ability, I can sing. I just may not sing very well. And I learnt to sing dirty ditties from my mum, who was a very good singer of them. And my most recent video that I've put out, which is about making thank you notes, at the very end, there's a video of her singing. And as I was explaining to someone today, yeah, it's a gorgeous video and it's wonderful to have that memory of her singing those dirty ditties that she always sang. I wished I'd done it about 6 months earlier in retrospect, because by then she'd started to lose some of the words of the songs. Like, she really wasn't as with it when I made the video. So she does struggle with a few of the words. But my cousin's singing with her, so, you know, it works out quite okay. But, yeah, I wished in retrospect I'd done it a bit earlier, but, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Jane says, did you ever read Stephen King's children's book? I'm not sure that I have, actually. I know that there is one, but I'm not sure that I have actually read it. Because, yeah, I was too busy by then. I would have been reading Cujo and The Shining and books like that. Eyes of the Dragon, that is called. And Jane says, dirty ditties, that was so cute, the two of them. Yes, yeah. And mum had 4, so mum had 3 siblings, so there was 4 of the brothers and sisters together, and they had beautiful singing voices, and they used to sing as kids a lot at the concerts and at dances and things back in the day. And yeah, the very musical family. All her mother's generation, a lot of them played instruments, and they had basically had a band that went around and played at the dances and things. Which, yeah, very musical, but yeah. And Jen asks, are you going to do another song? Bolo. Well, yes, I will very likely do another song. May not necessarily be a rap one. We will see. However, Anthony's son has suggested that maybe we could do a duet. So, he's the cutie pie that took me to school and got his teacher to put me up on the big screen in his class when they all had nothing to do. And everyone in the class watched me, and I just think that is so cute. So, yeah. Sandra said, very happy with the repair I did on the paperback attachment to the spine. Yes. And that is one thing. You can easily do paperbacks that have come away, that have split open. They're very easy to repair. You just need the right glue. And that is Elmer's school glue. Well, that's not the only one you can use, but that is a good one to use. It's, shall we say, a recommended one for doing the book repairs. So, yeah, quite good. just need to make sure that you leave them long enough. Don't try and, be moving them around or opening them up to check whether the glue's dried. Like, let it well and truly do its job. I will get around to doing a video on some of the book repairs that I do. I don't do anything major, but just a few little tweaks like that. Yep. No first edition Gamel. No first edition Gamel. No, don't know what you're saying. Tell me. Stephen King isn't as bad as Little Flies. No, that's true. That's true. But, I mean, people these days would be mortified to think that their children are reading Stephen King in grade 6, wouldn't they, though? Like some parents that, are a bit, that like to wrap their kids up in cotton wool and, all that sort of thing. It wouldn't be the done thing. But look at how popular the Goosebumps books are, for example. Like, kids love horror. They like to feel scared. It's all part of growing up. But yeah. Science fiction and horror I particularly like. Oh, look, I love crime and thrillers. I think I like a crime thriller more so than, say, a mystery crime. Yeah. Oh, I get it. So now I get it. Reading Stephen King is better than the shoot 'em dead games. Yes. Very true. That is very true. Yes, the precious ones. That's right. Correct. Let's not let our kids slide down the big slide because they might hurt themselves. Or let's take the Whizzy Dizzy that's been in the park for the last 50 years. Let's take it out because we can't have kids falling off the Whizzy Dizzy. And let's put in a newly designed one that everybody falls off because you can't hang on to it. Gemmell. G-E-M-M. Is it Gemmell? Gemmell? David Gemmell? Maybe the one that you are thinking of? Maybe? Yeah. Well, boys and girls, I think I'm going to call it quits. Now that is, Lord of the Flies was compulsory reading, which was a bit strange, wasn't it? Not in primary school, though, I will say. Not in primary school. Oh, I thought it was quite exciting when I started high school because it was the first time I went from a small Catholic school where most of the books you got to read, like, you didn't have books that you had to have on your book list, is what I'm trying to say, like you do when you go to high school. I was so excited when, we got our book list to go to high school, and you had to have books. You bought books that you read and you were going to study in school. And the first one that we had was To Sir with Love. And I do still have that around here somewhere. And it was a little thin hardcover book. And I was so excited. I think I read that thing 4 times before the school year started, from when we got our, books, because you got them a lot earlier back then. And now, these days, well, I know when my kids are at school, like, you got your books like the day before and how you're meant to cover them and, that sort of thing. Yeah. Andrew Thornton, how are you? What are you up to? You're up late. We're all going to bed now. Well, Grumpy Granny is. I'm going to bed soon. John says, tonight I have added 10 Agatha Christie crime collection books. Woohoo! How soft am I? No. Look, Agatha Christie's books are good. No, I'm not going to say it that way. Agatha Christie's books make great movies. There you go. Not perhaps my cup of tea for reading as such. Some of them are okay, but they are a bit soft for me. But they sell so well. They sell exceptionally well. Yeah. Really, really well. I think the other novel we had that year was To Sir with Love, and the other one we had was Storm Boy. So there you go. I've sold quite a few copies of Storm Boy. If you come across that sells really well. Doesn't sell for big bickies, but it sells. And I've never had it in my store for longer than about a week, and it sells. Dave says, yeah, also Animal Farm in 1984. Yeah, that was probably a bit later than the sort of stuff that I read at school. But yes, they did become that. Jane, we have a citywide swap meet this weekend. Oh, that sounds exciting. Wow. So is that a bit like a market, like a, citywide swap meet? How's that work? Okay. Because a swap meet for us would be like a market, I suppose. Sort of thing. Andrew says, good, thanks, not much tonight, just relaxing. Good. That's good. That is good. Good, Andrew. Very good. You probably need to relax getting over your postage problem you had earlier in the week. Oh, I shouldn't be awful. Free stuff. Oh, free stuff. Free stuff. Wow. So do you swap stuff or do you just get to go along and get what you want? That would be good. So people just put out what they want to get rid of and you get to take it. Is that how it works? Yeah, Flipper J, I love Storm Boy too. So Storm Boy was actually was also the very first movie I saw in a theatre because they took us over to a neighbouring town on the bus because we don't have a theatre here. They took us over to the Rex, the cinema in Charlton that year, and we got to see Storm Boy. And it was amazing seeing that on the big screen. It was really exciting. Isn't it sad to think I got all the way to high school before I actually got to see a movie at a theatre? Look, we had a drive-in not far from where I lived, so I had seen movies at the drive-in, but not in a theatre. There's a little bit of a difference. Sandra does. Sandra has a lot of Agatha Christie's crime collection. A lot. I may list them. Oh, may you. Good girl. So you should. Yes, Andrew is still salty over that. Well, once bitten, twice shy, Andrew. And I said we all made similar mistakes with our postage at one stage early on, and you don't do it again. And yes, Sandra has a first edition crime collection set as well. I've kind of I have been encouraging Sandra to list it, but she's a bit hesitant to list it. Understandable, but I just think, yeah, get them up, get them sold, make some money. And Andrew says, lesson learnt, but my kids' big toys that I end up selling. Yeah, look, when you get stuff that's too big or too heavy, you got to really be careful. Jen says, night all. Yep, night, Jen. Thank you very, very much for your help. Grumpy Granny is going to call it a day now too because I've gone, how long over? Where's my phone? I did say I was going to stop at midnight, didn't I? And now it's 10 minutes over. You've all kept me up 10 minutes longer than I wanted. No, just joking. Thank you, everyone, for coming and joining in. I really do appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. Come back again. I'm not sure about next Friday. I'll see how things are tracking, and depends when I finish up going to Melbourne for Monday's surgery. So I will play that by ear, and it'll also depend on how ready I am to go, whether I've packed my suitcase and all that sort of stuff, whether I do Friday night. We will see. All right, boys and girls, nine eyes, have a great weekend, and I will see you on the next one. Good on you, Jake.